Yeah, just a little bit behind. All right. You would. That's right. The pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Sheehan, would you offer a word of prayer?
Father, we come to you in Jesus' name today. Thank you, Lord, for your love, your grace, and mercy. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Help us as we have this meeting, Lord, to look to the future and also look to the present. Help us to be involved in solutions and solving problems and always looking forward in hope and with a vision. We thank you for this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Take this opportunity to welcome everyone and call the November 7th meeting of the Hardy County Commission regular meeting to order at this time. First on our agenda this morning is Mr. Paul Lewis, OEM Director, 911 updates.
Paul Lewis, Office of Emergency Management 911 Director. Monthly report for the month of October. Under 911, I did receive last week a copy of the award for the SHGP grant for the Lost City Power for $480,000. I don't think that money's going in yet. It should be forthcoming pretty soon, I would imagine. All new grant applications for us has to be done through OASIS, and that's not an easy site to deal with. The 2022 MPG application should be coming out soon, and as far as I know, Wendy keeps a check on that, and that has not came through either. I have made copies of all the expenses and stuff to go along with that, so as soon as we get that, we can throw that out and forward that in OASIS. LEPC grant, we completed that on OASIS. We completed that a couple weeks ago, so that funding is a 15-month period. I'll get it up. And we have to spend funds before we get the funds back from the state on that, and that's $3,000 on that grant. Construction for a tower has been started. They poured the legs. They should be pouring pads for the building and for the electric stuff today, if not yesterday. On that, I need to go there and check on that. As soon as that curing comes through where they check the legs and that concrete meets what they want it to meet, they'll start stacking that tower. Most of the Aviat equipment's on order and it's ready to be shipped. I think for that part and anything that's still out there would be the Motorola equipment on that. The Siren Tech was at the Humber Rock site Friday of last month, and last Friday in the month, and they're getting ready to replace the damaged antenna on the Humber Rock. That antenna's in. It's in Romney right now. They had 2 spools cables delivered to me yesterday, and a box of parts came in too, so they probably will try to get that replaced within the next couple of weeks, I imagine. Call volume for month of October, we had 549 calls came into the 911 center. Law enforcement had the following calls. Department of Natural Resources had 7 calls. Hardy County Sheriff's Office had 232 calls. Moorfield Police Department 106 calls, and West Virginia State Police had 56 calls. On the EMS side, West Hardy Ambulance had 132 calls. They were really busy with calls last month. ACAA had 82, and Warrensville Rescue had 18. Fire Department had the following calls. King Valley Fire had 7 calls, 5 Becker 15, and Moorfield had 29 calls. And we had 9 calls for QOH for trees and road blockages. Under the Office of Emergency Management, at the meeting on September 15th, State informed us that the MPG awards for 21 would be coming out shortly. So that funding's been approved, but we haven't seen how much that's going to be or when they'll release those funds. And they will be sending out a person now to look for those grants and to work on all those grants to make sure that they're handled properly and stuff. They've already been around some of the counties. They have not contacted me yet. I've submitted 3 SHSG grant applications to the state for review, and we're still waiting on the state to get back to us on those. Those should be coming out shortly. And I attended statewide OEM conference in Flatwood, different speakers, programs and stuff. Showing more Capito was there, so we had a pretty good meeting and stuff. We have probably 20-some new people in the Office of Emergency Management now in the state. There's a lot of turnover recently in the state on that. That's my report, unless you've got some questions on anything.
Yes, Paul. You know, you had mentioned the director, Jody Ratliff, the director of OEMS. Do you know anything? They received a grant and they have many supplies that they're getting out to agencies. Have you received any news about that?
No. Did they say what supplies they had in there? Or what they're doing with?
This was at the MSAC conference, or the MSAC quarterly meeting. I just know it's supply. I just wanted, and I texted you about it, of course. I'm just trying to see if those would be any supplies that we need. Because it's a ton of supplies.
Can you forward her email to me or something?
Or Jody's email? Yes.
And I'll contact her. Check with her.
Yes, I will. Yes. I don't know. Nathan's going to be here today.
Yeah. I didn't make it.
Because I wanted to mention something to him. That Ambulance Act of 1975 is being looked at. They're having meetings. They have a task force that's been created in the Senate and the House, the delegate side. And for the first 3 meetings, mostly volunteer fire departments have been talked about and discussed. But they do want to also talk about EMS, and there are going to be some things that come from this.
And I know they sent down the letter, probably a copy of the funding for EMS side.
Yes, for the salary enhancement?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the issue there, which we are receiving funding, now we were tier 3, which I do want to ask Nathan about that, because I had thought from the guidelines that I read that we should be tier 2. They only did it in tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 2 got $300,000. We received 125, and then there was additional for critical response support, which I talked to Derek about that, just to make sure how we'll be planning to use that. But yeah, we are receiving that. The continuing funding is what is being worked. That's the
That's
word.
the second one, different than the far one.
It is a different one. They approved another source of funding for fire departments. Yeah.
Okay.
They're also doing a study for how many ambulances are needed in each county. That's a big push.
That's really hard to estimate when you may have 4, but you may have 2 broke down one time. So I don't know what they're going to base their answers on there.
Call volume about the same.
Yeah, I think it's almost a few different than what it was last month. It may start picking up. So my understanding is that the city's hard number officer.
And the 480,000, that's for sure coming.
Yeah, well, they sent the signed documents and stuff.
That's not slowing down or impeding the progress
Not
by
yet.
not having it yet.
Okay. And I'm probably going to use some of them now morning.
But that'll take care of the whole cost. Keep us informed.
See if y'all got any big wallets.
Keep us informed.
Love it. Anything else?
Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
Derek's not here yet, but Bill Hours, Hardy County Health Department.
He gonna have to start paying me for being late. That puts me on the spot. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I'm Bill Ayers, Hardy County Health Department Administrator. I'm gonna jump all over here just a little bit this morning. First of all, of course, we talked about the new building. My question is, and this is probably for you, Bill, is there any way we can
get Thrasher to go ahead and move the building I have down there, since it's their expense, their mistake, so I can start using that building? Because, I mean, it's sitting there and I can't do anything with it. I can't put anything in it.
That's the storage building.
Yeah, that new $30,000 building I got a grant for, and they told us to put it there, and we put it there, and then they said we're gonna have to move it, and they agreed to move it. But, I mean, if it's 2 or 3 months before we get started on groundbreaking, that's 2 or 3 months I can't use that building. And if you all been in my agency, you know I'm busting at the seams.
Yes.
I just didn't
Then
know
we
that
can ask.
that's something we could check
We
on.
can ask.
I would appreciate that. COVID, we still have some COVID around. We still have some people dying of COVID. We are giving shots. I'm a little nervous about shots. I'm not going to lie to you, because they're not free anymore. I put out, when I say we bought $30,000 worth of COVID vaccine, and we're going through it, but just hope we get paid for it. That's the key. We hope we get paid. If not, I will be in front of you begging for some reimbursement. I'm gonna tell you that now. But I'm not going crazy on it. But we're not having any problems getting rid of it. It's just that scary process. We've ordered right around 300 shots, and it's 30 grand. So I'm afraid to go out on too big a limb, because you put people on a waiting list, and then, okay, I need 100 Moderna. Well, we're talking 10, 15 grand to order them, and then when they come in, Jaybird's already went to Walmart and got his, or CVS, or someplace else and got theirs, and then I'm holding 50. I don't know. It's just, it's not an easy game to play. The second thing is, last year or the year before in the legislative session, they passed a rule to where if my Board of Health decides to change any fees or do anything, that we have to run it through you guys and get your blessing. I'll be bringing one. There's one thing we're going to change. Well, my board voted to change, and I'll bring it to you in December meeting. I'll give you a heads up now, and it's a septic modification. We are the only county around that was still only charging $50. Everybody else was charging $180, because you have to do the same amount of work for a septic modification as you do basically a new septic system. And to be honest with you, depending on what part of the county it was in, it could actually cost us money. Yeah, $50 to run to Matthias twice is not covered anymore. So they voted to change that fee, but to $180. But I need to bring that to you all and get your approval. But I want a little bit of time to make sure, in case there's anything else that needs adjusted there. I don't want to keep coming back every month and doing it. I'd rather just look at it and bring you all everything at once. I might be able to jump what I need to do.
Did they approve it for 180?
They did.
That's for 180.
They did. I think that's all. We're doing well.
How about flu shots and RSV and pneumonia? Are you okay with those vaccines?
Everything but RSV. I mean, the thing about RSV is it's hard to get. And then if somebody wants an RSV shot, we have to have an order from their doctor to get it. I mean, when we started out, we only had 5. And then we do 2 different things. We do for the uninsured, so on and so forth, then the state supplies some, but their supply is limited, so they might give us 2 or 3, and then we try to order the private. So we have lists that if you're interested in it, you can call and get on, and as soon as we get to you, we'll take care of it. I say COVID, we're doing COVID shots twice a week now, and it's keeping us hopping. And everything's the same, whereas, you got to wait 15 minutes after you get your shot, but the biggest issue is we're not getting the reporting now. I don't know how many COVID cases we have in Hardy County. The only thing we're getting, and that's like, we don't even have to report deaths now. They are getting it from the death certificate. I do know we had a death in Hardy County, and I do know we've had some outbreaks in Hardy County. But as far as the number of COVID cases, I have no idea.
You know why?
It's just,
It's just another normal.
I guess they're trying to break away from the stigma of the pandemic, you know, and it's just something we're going to live with from here on out. I mean, unless I miss my guess, you know, we'll have people getting COVID shots like flu shots, and we'll have people dying of COVID just like people die of the flu from here on out. So,
Bill, I did want to ask you something on which I talked with you about before, but just in the meeting, I wanted to get kind of your input on the short-term rental amendments that have been proposed.
okay.
And so this is being, proposed by the planning commission. It's been passed out of the planning commission. Now it's in the county commission's hands. But, in talking with you, when we were talking about housing, of course, this is a different thing than just housing. This is short-term rentals, but I'm just wondering what you're seeing, are amendments to our existing ordinances necessary? Will it help? For instance, for example, commercial campgrounds are brought in under these revisions. The Department of Health you inspect campgrounds, so you're also already very closely tied to this. And we have we're going to get some input from an attorney on it. We've reached out there, so we'll get some more information. But just when bills are when revisions are being made, we should do our research.
Right.
That's why I wanted to put that out to you today, just to get your input on that.
Well, if you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an honest opinion. So, I don't think it's a simple. For the plain simple fact, there's so many diversified parts to Hardy County where people can just throw a camper in and rent it out. I mean, how do you solve it? Your campgrounds that are permitted and inspected by the health department already do a good job. Actually, they do a great job in Hardy County. The problem is everybody sees the chance to make a quick buck. They got 2 acres of land. They see the corridor down there, like, okay, well, people pulling their campers, let's give them a place to pull over for a night or 2. Or I've got 5 acres down along the river, let's pull some campers in down there and rent the river lots out. All right, well, you have no septic, no wells. He wants somebody.
It's not hurt.
But I guess if I had to present a question, it would be, who's going to enforce it? If you don't have somebody to enforce it, there's no sense having regulation. I mean, in all honesty, because you're going to create. My philosophy when running the health department on the environmental side, if I'm charging you for something, then you ought to get a service. Okay.
Yes.
So with that septic permit, you're getting with your septic application, I'm doing the paperwork, I'm doing 2 site visits, and you're getting a copy of the final inspection. Okay? If we're going to charge a permit or a fee, then we ought to be giving a service.
Yes.
And if we're not going out giving a service, then I don't think it's justified. I'm not saying we don't need to do some of these things. I just don't know. I'm not in your guys' shoes. I'm not in a position to know whether we can pay somebody. I'll give you a prime example, Airbnbs. Okay. Legally, the health department could charge Airbnbs for permits, $100 a year. And we probably got 60, 80, Paul might know better than me. We got a bunch of them.
140 something last count I had.
But I cannot hire an employee to go inspect them and support all that salary by that permit fee. So I choose to. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not. But someplace like Snowshoe, my friend in Snowshoe, she hired another employee because they got over 500, And she can make, $150,000, $200,000 a year for her health department by doing that. But I can't do it. There's just,
So there's a scale that might make sense. There's a time when it might make sense. Right now, we're not at that time. That's one way to look at this.
well, we got to decide what we want in Hardy County. I mean, do we want people to come and enjoy our rivers? Do we want people to come and enjoy our hunting lands? I remember back in the old days during hunting season, all you seen was campers and stuff rolling in. You seen them everywhere. But I also understand the flip side of it too. Not everybody's ethical. Not everybody's going to take their sewage home and dump it at an RV station or dump it in their septic tank. They're going to dump it along the road. They're going to dump it in the river. So I don't know where the middle of the road is, sir.
Right, okay. That's great input.
But I am a firm believer. If I catch a lot of shit at the state with my other local health departments, and I'll tell you real quick why. It's like some health departments are now charging real estate agents $25 for a copy of the septic. So if they're selling Mr. Sheetru's house and they need a copy of that septic system, they have to email the health department, and the health department charges $25. And it may take 2, 3, 4 days to get it. You guys give my health department money. That money comes from the Hardy County taxpayer. So I try to use common sense to where, and not nickel and dime people to death for their services. That to me is already coming. They're paying for some of these services. With that septic permit, you ought to be able to get as many damn copies of it as you want, in my opinion. So I just try not, a lot of help. I understand I have to have money for my agency to operate, with PIA going up, so on and so forth. But I also try to take the approach to where I feel that we're being fair to the taxpayer and the citizens and giving them the service they deserve.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
You ain't throwing none at me today?
No.
Hot damn, I'm good.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep, you're welcome.
Next, we have Stacy Posey on the track.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I said Stacy Posey with Omnitrax. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Central Region for Omnitrax. I guess first on behalf of our owner, Pat Road, and all of our railroads, appreciate the opportunity to come in here and speak this morning. I'll give you a little bit about our company. I've been with Omnitrax a couple of years. I was with CSX for 17 years and president of a company called Montana Rail Inc. for 5 years. So getting acclimated back to the community here. So we have 25 railroads in about 16 different states. Mr. Rose started this company. He's a self-made guy. Started his real estate company in 1972. He started the railroad business in 1986 with a company called Great Western Railroad north of Denver. We're headquartered in Denver. And from there, he's grown this company through acquisition and expansion. We have a unique model. Our model is we are the third largest railroad short line holding company in North America. We have our model revolves around the combination of real estate and railroads. So we have what we call turnkey type service, where we can go in on the railroad, bring in business, and do everything from build the building, help with the property, help with permitting, whatever it takes to get the business in. And that model's been very successful across the country. My territory runs, I said Central Region, it's horizontal with Omnitrax. So I go Jersey to California. So I see a lot of different companies, a lot of different culture, and a lot of different business models. Everything works in every location. So it's been interesting to see this, for me to learn and see this model unfold. We've been again, it's very successful. We were just had a big hand at landing the CMC going in North Martinsburg. We were able to work with the state and CMC, several utilities to offer things such as bringing in utilities along our right of way, which makes it vastly simpler to get utilities in. Things like solutions for propane versus natural gas, and offering incentives. We put in about $10 million for that project. We put the project in ourselves to help get that project in. So a lot of jobs for that project. Similar concept with Clorox, where they have the kitty litter plant there in Wood, and P&G same way. There's 3 or 4 more that are looking to come over there right now. We're working with. So it's it's been an interesting concept. I do the same thing. I have railroads in Texas, California, Colorado, Nebraska, Indiana, Oklahoma. So we do the same thing across the country. We're very community oriented. Mr. Bro likes to he wants to make sure that we're part of the communities. We do this everywhere we go. Doug Long, who couldn't be, Doug's not feeling well, couldn't be here today. Doug is our general manager over on the WW side, Martinsburg. He's a lifelong resident there, and we typically do that. We try to hire local. We have our own training facility in Denver, so when we hire local, we'll send folks to Denver, train them to be an engineer and conductor, bring them back and put them to work. So it's been a really good model. Our interest in this line, Valley is kind of, the Eastern Panhandle, that corridor there is filling up pretty quick. There's still a lot of interest in Virginia. West Virginia is I think it ranks 6th in the most business-friendly states. If I was the last time I looked, there's a lot of new industry, new business wanting to come to West Virginia, and this line has a lot of potential. The state owns the line, and Cindy Butler, who is the general manager, has done a phenomenal job keeping this line going. I think there's 34 bridges on this line, 52 miles, 34 bridges. Some of them pretty good sized bridges. So, the track is in good shape, bridges are in good shape, but everything has a finite life, and there's a very large customer down here that we feel that needs to grow. The line needs a lot of attention. Secretary Riston, his thoughts are, we've got 2 to 5 years left if we don't make some drastic changes for the line. There'll have to be a vast influx of capital, or the line has to be shut down because there's so much work to do. We think we can do that, and grow the business and do that. We make no apologies for being a for-profit organization, and we think we can bring the right business in. We can grow the existing business here. Pilgrim's Pride is owned by a company called JBS, headquartered in Denver. We just built a cold storage facility. The exact same model. JBS needed a cold storage facility to flash freeze beef out of the feedlots in Colorado. We designed it, built it, built a railroad into it, handed it to it. So we've already met with JBS. We've already met with Pilgrim's Pride, looking at increasing the rail traffic into that plant. Takes trucks off the road, makes the line more viable, and it's much more cost effective for the company. So those are just some, and we've already reached into CSX. I'm a former CSX guy. Our CEO is a CSX guy, and we've already reached in with CSX and had another set. A set is like a unit train. Another set of grain cars added to the Pilgrim's Pride fleet. So that's already happening. So, and that's just some of the reach we have. So, we think it's a good thing. There's been some concern early on about the tourism. When we went to sit down with the state, we went to Charleston, sat down with the Senate President and Secretary of Transportation, Mr. Carmichael. We all sat down and we told them what we wanted to do. And we talked about this. The first 2 things out of their mouths were, we want to protect the tourist train, protect the employees that are currently with the SPP on it. And we've done both those. We're bringing on all 4 I've got people flying in today. We have people, flying in today to do our second round of training. I'm moving some furniture and stuff up there today. But the engineering folks that repair the track, they will stay. The state of West Virginia will continue to maintain the track. Once that, we decide to purchase the railroad versus lease, then we'll take those employees on. So those 4 engineers came over, were made whole in terms of their state retirement, in terms of their they've been on salaries, so they've done. It was a good move for them. And with respect to the Potomac Eagle, I've already met with the Franzens twice, and there are stipulations in the agreement that if we assume ownership, that they will be offered, they or whomever is operating the tourist train will be offered similar terms. So that's as whole as it can be made. So and with that, I guess I'll just open it up for questions.
We were out to grill. And at that time, the problem with the rail wasn't local, it was CSX, they said. And they said it wasn't just, because I asked him, I said, is that a local problem here? Because they couldn't get cars in.
Yeah.
Or what? And he said, we're seeing this out there. It was a CSX problem. No. Are you all able to get a handle on that, make that better?
Well, we've already got an extra set added. I was part of that problem one time, I know how the system works. So, a lot of it is.
You can fix it.
Well, I think we can sure help it. Yeah, yeah. It's how quick you turn the cars. It's how responsive you are. It's knowing who to call. And we can sure help that night. And when it doesn't happen, we know who to put the pressure on. So, and I think CSX is a squeaky wheel kind of thing. So I think we can sure improve that. Especially, we've already, got a company like this, you cast a broad net. When you hear things in California that you normally wouldn't hear unless you, or Texas, or we got Browns. We have the largest port in Brownsville. Not that that's not true. We have one of the largest ports in Texas, in Brownsville, which is where SpaceX is, the southern tip of Texas. And I think it was 25,000 carloads when we started, and we're at 75,000. It's just by working with the port and growing. And you hear things, in Brownsville that you hear in Colorado and so forth. So we've already kind of pitched this problem to a lot of folks. So it's we think that when you start growth like that, CSX would be very interesting. What we would do, we would pull them into the fold and say, hey, we want to this market this.
Is this an outright purchase or like a lease for both?
So it's a lease purchase. So it's a lease. We have a 40-year lease. And Steve couldn't be with us. He's with the state today. Steve Conley. He couldn't be with us today. But and we're at iteration, I think, 11 draft on this agreement. Normally these agreements are 6-7 pages. I think this one's 50 pages. The state has done it. Yeah. I was going to make an attorney comment. We've got, when you have, they've done a fantastic job of protecting the asset. This is a very complex. It's a 40-year lease with the option to purchase after 5.
So no option to purchase for 5 years, right? That is correct. That's what I've heard and understood as well. Okay.
There are performance metrics in this that we have to do.
Okay.
We have to keep the church train on time.
Okay.
And the question I always get, how are you going to grow through the church train on time? I worked in that most of my career, most of my railroad career early on. And we might be home for it now. If we have to do that for a month or 2 months during that peak time. So, and I've talked to Robert Branson about this as well. We're gonna come in here with our operating rules called G-Corp, General Code of Operating Rules, and we will train their folks on the very safe way to operate. We are best in class in safety. So when I say best in class, all of our road shoreline, last last year we were best. This year we were better at that. So that's across the board. That's with how much injuries, everything. So we've made some good changes and they've worked and we've got a good culture. So that's part of the metrics inside that group. We have to perform. We just can't come in here and not perform. So the first 6 months will be nice. It takes you 2 months to find a water fountain. That kind of thing. So, but we're assuming this. We would be assuming this at a time when the tourists would be winding down after Christmas. And then that gives us 2 or 3 months to get the operations settled, get people settled,
Change is always one of those things that's kind of a difficult pill to swallow sometimes. And with regard to the railroad, I know that you've encountered it already with a lot of folks that have dedicated a lot of time and effort to keeping the railroad going over the years. And I think we all view it as a very important asset to our community here, not only from the pilgrimage side, but from a lot of the other aspects that you've already mentioned with regard to business growth and development. And so I think we've all appreciated that. And I think, this is something that's new to us. And, there's been several changes in the way that the railroad's been operated in the last 20 years or so. And under the auspices of the Department of Transportation and their leadership and supervision. And so there's a lot of questions that exist in the community. And we appreciate you coming forward today and giving us a face to put with the company now. And like I say, I guess we're looking forward to seeing what the future holds, but we certainly are glad to hear that the employees that are currently there are being taken care of because they're members of our community. They're our friends. They're our neighbors. And we certainly want to see them treated fairly and change over. And from what you're saying, I believe that's happening. So.
Absolutely. Everyone wants change to be changed, So, so we, there were questions. We've there's questions about, we're going to haul and store or hazmat. There's several reasons why we won't do that. One is there's no place to store it. There's no track to store it. And two is, we have other places we can do that if we want, but we don't store hazmat. We could, but we don't. Same thing with toxic waste. We were asked, one of the questions you've probably been asked, can we give guarantees we'll never transport a hazmat on this road? We can't give that guarantee. The state of West Virginia cannot give that guarantee. There is a federal law called Common Carrier Obligation, and every railroad has to haul whatever the customer wants. That's regulated by the Surface Transportation Board, so no one can get that. But right now, we don't see it. So that's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing right now on growing this, helping programs provide growth of business, helping other customers grow their business, getting the infrastructure where it needs to be. And, because as Jimmy, Secretary Riston said, we don't do something quickly, it won't be alive in 5 years. So we've got to be ready with this. And like I said, we're very community oriented. You'll see that. You'll see us in the community. So.
Well, we're building a new health department. There's a train track right beside it, and we'll take all the help we can get.
We'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there. Hey, so I listened at one meeting where they were at the one ambulance service was having issue answering calls. And for us, when you increase the tax base and you start bringing revenue in, you can help with those things. We can help with those things. That's what we call communities.
Well, we probably, and Paul will speak more on this, but I'm thinking from the aspect if something would happen, we're probably going to have to get some of you guys on our emergency councils and
For sure.
look at our threat preparedness plans and
Yeah.
so on and so forth in case we have some issues. That I think we got some of that stuff in there. We've dealt with some of that before, but I don't know if we need to.
We are the only short line holding company that is certified by the American Chemical Industry to respond. We were this West Virginia WW was the first one to get certified in OmniTrack. So we've got a very deep safety team and environmental emergency response team. So we'll make sure that they are here front and center.
Stacy, can you speak to the issue of eminent domain?
Yes.
Because that's something that's come up, you know, many
Yeah.
people have questions about that.
Sure. Yeah, I always say, you know, the term getting railroaded didn't come around by chance. And people always have that it's a little bit of a stigma, I guess. You know, we have the power, we possess that. But I've been in the railroad industry 26 years, and I've seen it exercised one time with CSX, and it wasn't contentious. But I don't see any reason that we would have to do that. You know, we are more an entrepreneurial company. We are more about the business side of it and working through the business models and plans to make things happen. To exercise eminent domain, it is a very costly, time-consuming, and not always successful venture. I mean, it could take, in business, we move at speed business. We're not into things for 5, 6 years, 7 years to get in the industry. That's not how it works. Time is the killer of all wheels. So, you know, yeah, we have it, but I mean, I don't know. I can't see any business case or even any infrastructure case where we would need to exercise it. The infrastructure is already there. And, you know, the way it's the same thing that we do on the Martinsburg side, same thing we do. There's actually a Jersey portion of the WW. Same thing we do there is we work with landowners, work with businesses, work with local EDCs and county commissions. And together,
Can we get your contact information cards? And certainly you take our contact information with you today, so that as we proceed and time passes on, we can get in touch if we do have additional questions and concerns.
Stacy already reached out on food banks in the area, and they are going to, it looks like, I believe, you know, it's being worked on, provide Polar Express tickets to 25 families.
Yeah, we're going. We found. I think we found 3 or 4. I just texted Christina. I was sitting back. The 3 or 4 local food banks that we could donate.
Okay.
And then we will. You know, we reached out to a couple folks, but we'd like to get those families on that Polar Express. We'll make them for this year, vouchers for this year, and then we'll do the same thing.
Okay.
We're just trying to learn where the groups are. So usually we go through the churches.
One of the social worker in the schools is working on that list for you. Okay. Yeah, we already talked with the school board president, and he talked with the superintendent. So yeah. And I think that I talked to your colleague yesterday. I can't remember her name.
Christine.
Yeah, Christina.
Yes.
Spoke to her yesterday, and I think she'll have it finalized by the end of this week versus next, I believe.
You know, a little anecdotal background. I'm from East Tennessee, little coal mining family. And when the mines left, NAFTA came in. When NAFTA came in, the factories left. And I left home in 1986 and had moved back to the States. And I know what it's like to be in a small town with jobs where there's no jobs. So it's very near and dear to my heart to come into these areas because this is just like where I'm from. Exactly like where I'm from, actually. So I, you know, I'm very sensitive to that and very passionate about that. So, you know, this will be a good thing. This will be a good thing for the community.
We would also like whoever your local contact person is to contact the LEPC. We meet today, but
We have what we call assistant general manager at that time. And that person is from this area. Works for CSA, 30-something year railroad, so it doesn't even have to do that. So it's hiring the old person. So once everything's executed, I can take that next step forward and get everyone signed up. I'll make sure.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Can I have a minute? I don't need that. There's something I forgot to address, but don't put this in paper, please.
Why?
Well, I just want to tell you about a scenario I ran into, and it's weird actually. So, McDonald's hired a homeless employee, okay, which is great. That's awesome. But then, I guess they hired her to work in the front, like cleaning tables, so on and so forth. Well, we started getting some calls at the health department about personal hygiene, and I started thinking of, is there any place in town for somebody like that who wanted to better themselves, to like get a shower, take care of themselves so they could, if they got a job, to do something like that? If not, that's an issue.
No.
I'm being 100% serious.
As far as I know, yeah, we have no shelter
Is that planned in the new building?
here.
I don't know if I got a shower in there or not. I have to think about that, but I'm just saying that's an issue. You got somebody trying to better themselves. You got a company trying to help them better themselves. But if you're in the food service business, personal hygiene is an issue, and being able to take a shower, clean some clothes, or something like that.
Yeah, and there, more populated counties, there's ways that this is done. I know that in, for example, Warren County, Virginia, churches open to the homeless population. There's basically a coalition of churches that come together to do this, so that it's not all on one. I know that the county there bought trailers that had showers and bathrooms in them, so that's something they did. So it's like, I am glad you're raising that issue, because there's a real life example of where it comes up.
And evidently we got a larger homeless population than I was even aware of.
That's completely true. Yes.
But I don't know how to solve that issue. But because I understand we can't just have a shower place open for people to go into, because then you get kids going in, or people going in doing drugs, or bad things happening. But I don't know. There's something we need to.
It's something that
We need to find a solution to.
Good point. Like I say, it's one worthy of research.
Let me do a little research.
Thank you. We're supposed to call our attorney at this time. Let me see if I can get him on the line, put him on speaker, to talk about the opioid settlement. Hi, this is Dave Work with the County Commission of Hardy County, West Virginia, calling for Hunter Mullins. Hi, Hunter, Matt, good to see you. Dave Workman here, along with David Fansler and Stephen Sheetram. You are on speakerphone, and we are in our county commission meeting at this time. It's good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. And I'll be brief today. Just want to give you an update on the opioid litigation. I'm sure you've seen things in the news and so forth. But the good news is you're finally down to where I'm being told that you should receive your first check in December of this year.
Sounds
And
good.
what they're distributing, they're distributing $73.5 million to the counties and cities.
good.
And then I'll keep up there with Greg and so forth. And, we'll need a separate account.
Right.
I recommend a separate account for that. And of course, half of that you can use as reimbursement from the regional jail bill. But then the other, there's some buffer rails there. And if you get ready to do something there, I'll get with you and we'll make sure we comply with all the rules and regulations of the memorandum of understanding.
Yes, one of the other items later on in the agenda when Clerk Ely gets to his part is to open a couple of accounts, and one of the accounts is for the deposit of these opioid settlement funds. So we are proceeding that way, and it's good to know that there's going to be some money on the way.
Right after 7 years of working on this, it's nice to see some of it finally our labor, and so I'm excited for that. And there will be other payments, on down the road. I think will be some time. And of course, then you can apply for grant to the, most of the money is going to be down in Charleston. We'll apply for the grant there. If you guys, I'm more than happy to consult with you on that and help you get to that point. Not there yet, but it would be nice to get a check to the county.
Good deal. We'll be looking forward to it.
All right. Any questions or anything?
No.
Okay. Any questions here? Hunter, Matt, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Hunter.
Hear about that. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
indeed. Thank you for all your hard work. Bye now. All right. Nathan, Eric, you're up.
Good
Morning.
Nice day. Make this one just for you. Here, call, Director for the Ambulance Authority. Following is a monthly update from the HCEAA. Total expenses for the month of October, $104,995.01. Total revenue, $86,159.29. That includes $65,000 from the fee. Income from services, $20,591.24, and then other incomes, $568.05. As far as our vehicles go, 371 is in service, nothing to report. 372 is in service. We did have Lloyd check the knock in the engine. That happens, so I'm just keeping the engine in service. That's the one I believe we just had the short block replaced on. 373 and 376 are both in service. 383 and in service now. Everything's in service at the moment. Good to go. As far as the building and grounds, the lease with PA Halls was terminated effective November 1st. Pending any recommendations from the commission and the board of directors, at our level, we are considering uses for the space to include possible book space, offices, supplies, and possible working area. So that's just pending on what the commission and the board decides if you guys want to try to rent it out again or what you want to do moving forward. As far as the equipment goes, the cot on 373 is currently out of service. It does need a frame repair due to an incident where the load system was off center. Initially, Stryker said it wasn't covered under warranty, but as far as I understand, they are going to repair it right now. There was lots right there, so what happened was we got those load systems, and we need to put this out so everybody knows. So the load systems, the way it works is the front wheels go in, they lock, the system turns green, or the lights. It's always been assumed that when that happens, it's safe to use. But now we're finding out that apparently it can be off just a little bit, and still lock into place and allow the system to lift. So what that does is there's two arms that come up under the cot to support the weight. Well, if it's off a little bit, those arms can catch the leg of the cot. Well, it keeps coming. So And then that's what happened. So we're doing a little bit of retraining. Luckily, the incident where the car jammed up, it was only the pipe that got jammed up. So make sure it was okay. Providers, everybody was fine. So we're going to do a little re-education, get it fixed. So basically what it is, you lock it. We now know that the potential is there for it to be a little bit off center, so you just kind of got to readjust. You can manually lift the arms to make sure that they clear and everything's good to go. Additionally, Nathan and I are working on the final details of the website before it goes live. Instead of posting the financials, I was just thinking about adding an additional link that's on your website to the West Virginia checklist site. That being said, I need to get you. We did all the way up to July, right? So then we did everything, and then we're running quarterly. So I need to send you July, August, and September for this year. Is that correct? Okay. And then I'll get with you to remember exactly how to do that.
Okay.
So we're going to update it quarterly. I think it's what Greg and I had decided. Initially, we just put the month, everything since QuickBooks. So when you click on it right now, you can see our financials all the way from, I believe it's 2018 sometime until July of this year. And from then on, we're going to move forward with quarterly. Also, the website will include minutes, the annual audits, organizational chart, contact info, the link to the Facebook page, etc. And then, is there any other recommendations that you all may have that you would like to see on that? Or if you think of any, you can let us know. Because we'll be able to change it and update it all that. I think a lot of those, like the organizational chart and the contact, I think that came from all the recommendations. So, and the way we're going to do the organizational chart is commission to the board of directors and then staffing with company one. So reported by both companies to be running smoothly. Inquiries have been made about providing the driver during the off hours and hours other than the Monday through Friday. We got to figure out how we're going to handle that with the B2, make them smooth schedule and all this and that. So we'll give you more. We're going to submit a response to a request this month. Talk to the board tomorrow night, and hopefully by the next meeting, I'll give you an update as to the status with that. But other than that, any questions for me?
Just a quick question. Is Tom working for NCAA or Tom Walker? He was up there the other day. Picked up on that. That's really I didn't ask him when it happened. I just that first time I did it. But that's fine. That's fine. I didn't have a problem with it. But I didn't know if he was working in Wardsville.
Yeah, he's been with us. He's been with us. He usually works on weekends.
Well, that's what it was.
But then he's also with government.
He won't help everybody. Works up here and helps them.
He's one of the call. We got a second due call during the night or something like that. Come from Wardsville, come help us. If it's in Wardsville.
You've seen communications on the updated protocols. Are they saying that to you, like there's protocols for everything, basically everything? I guess they were 1,000 pages. Now that's been narrowed down to 70, reduced to 70 pages. The rollout, I believe, is going to be sometime April, May of next year, evidently.
Yeah.
So this is the protocols, like if the ambulance goes.
EMS protocol?
Yeah, EMS protocols, like for the the person who's going to responding to the call. They go out and there's a certain process for them to follow. That's what this is.
Yeah, we'll have our protocol take class usually in January, February type thing. We usually have a mandatory update on it before we can practice.
Well, I think that's what that's about, because recertification also happens then, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, usually in March.
Okay. So that's why they pushed it back to April. May because it was gonna cause a problem. There's too much at one time if they did it in January,
And
so
then-
now it's April.
And I know it was hypothesized we're getting away with some census tracker system was how we redo our sort of pre-certifications. I know that I haven't read them all the way out. That's usually out the federal office industry.
Yeah, right, right.
But I know there's talk of them getting away with that. And we'll see that January, February. We'll have to do this fast as that.
Okay, okay. Because they talked a lot of time has been spent on this.
Sounds like what they're doing is they're just combining it.
They're trying to simplify it and combine it, like, they had 1,000 pages.
Well, when you say 1,000, it's just like each licensing level had its own set of programs.
Okay.
Probably what I imagine is similar to what they do, which is it's a more flow charts and
Yes, I
start at the
think it
top and then it flows through like the basic level. So farther down until you get to like the advanced.
Okay, okay.
Which would reduce it significantly. Same protocol.
But it's better, more ease of use.
Right,
Yeah.
Any further questions for Derek? All right.
Our board meeting.
I'm still literally confused on that new system that we tabled last week, and I'll be there tomorrow. I'm leaving on Wednesday.
Oh.
So,
Nathan's supposed to be working on it for clarification.
Yeah, a brief rundown is that the basic system we have now is just going to be a different account. It's going to be a place we can import data from the CAD system to give our providers access to this times. For their sake of use, it's going to be a button. Just a quick button gives them all the accurate data. For us on the back end, I'll be able to go and look at each individual call where it's zoned. So like 5 miles on Emore Road is the same distance as 5 miles down to 59. So we'll have real-time call data times and stuff like that versus, and the way I pull it now, it's very broad. 5 miles is linked to 5 miles, not 5 miles. Like I said, up Emore Road or down Parker Hollow Road isn't the same as going up Boston South 5 miles of that. It's a really accurate way of tracking calls in Mooresville.
well, you won't have to convince me
All right.
the rest of it.
It's clear as muddy water. If you set my computer, I show you real quick, 3 clicks, and you think, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to fix it.
He does a much better job of explaining it than I do.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff?
Steve Dawson, Hardy County Sheriff. I'll give you a report on what our task force has been working on October. Michael Anthony Matthews, age 34, Baltimore, Maryland, pled guilty in federal court for distribution of fentanyl. Matthews, a co-defendant, supplied fentanyl to at least 12 others who live in Moorfield and Petersburg area. The others traveled to Matthews' apartment and purchased fentanyl on hundreds of occasions, each time purchasing more than personal use quantities for sales here in West Virginia. He's facing up to 20 years in federal prison. And also, Jacob Vance is arrested on task force on ATF charges for distribution of meth and possession of guns. He's a felon. And 2 federal police, which Matthews, I just told you about, and also an ICE suspect involved in the drug traffic around here. You hear often in your report every month about the task force, how they're taking all these people out. They're most of the big distributors around here. You'll be surprised this afternoon when we meet with the task force. It's slowing down the flow of fentanyl and methamphetamine in here in the county. You really start to see a difference now. Not to say that you're not going to have other players that come in and take their place, because there's no shortage of criminals, especially around Baltimore area, that wants to infiltrate into this area because so lucrative the drug trade is. But really seeing a difference now with what those guys have done the last few years. They put a hurt on them. And we tested for promotions, and Lieutenant Miller will be promoted to captain. He passed the captain test. Senior Deputy Smith, he was the highest one on the sergeant's list, so he'll be promoted to sergeant. We'll have to retest for lieutenant again, so we're going to get that done here shortly. other people and do the interviews. So hopefully we'll have 3 viable candidates when it's done. And that's something I want to bring to your all's attention too. Talk about all this growth, and you look at what Pilgrims is doing. They're building all these housing complexes. You're going to be bringing several hundred more people in here. And what we're getting mostly now is from Haiti. And we're going to get to the point with this growth and stuff. We're going to be completely overwhelmed with the amount of manpower we've got. Because you can see by the call logs in the state police, they're not got the people that we've got. The city doesn't. But you're talking, we've only got 8 people out working the road. So you can take almost 300 calls generally a month. That's a lot of calls for 8 people. Getting near the end of the year like this too, we've got a lot of people on vacation. So it's pretty much just me and JT during the day and one person through the night, and we start back on call till the morning till day shift starts. Again, that's what we've been doing here lately with people on vacation. One of the deputies is on maternity leave, or his girlfriend had a baby, so we're going to be pretty much swamped till the end of the year. But all that being said, as hard as it is to hire a deputy or police officer, period, anymore, because it's hard to find somebody who can make it through everything, one that actually wants to do it.
How many actual people tested?
Well, we had 6, but only 3 of them even showed up.
So the 3 that showed passed.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
Yeah.
We used to give it, man, you'd like to get 1 out of 10.
Yeah, well, these guys that passed, they all look like they're pretty good. Of course, Greg was there and gave the test, and we were together on them. They looked like they ought to be able to do it because they were fairly young. They looked like they were in good shape, too, and they seemed pretty squared away. So it's the kind of people you hope to get. But still got the worry of them being washed out in the polygraph, and then even if you hire them, they got to make it through the academy. With all that being said, the potential growth down the line, I'm running my budget right at a little over $100,000 under budget right now. And it might not be a bad idea to think about maybe hiring 2, one to replace half the bank where he retired, and maybe hire another guy on. We've probably got the money to do it. It's running a little bit more expensive, the training part of it, have to send 2 of them through the academy. But it's something you might want to look at. Because it's going to continue to grow. If we got the opportunity, we got people we can hire and get them trained, because you're looking at least about a year by the time you hire them to get through the training you have in the field with the training officer where they can really do much good. So it might be something I want to talk with you maybe the next week or 2. We see if they make it through the polygraph. It might be something we want to consider. To be your all's final decision. And also, 10:30, I've got a hearing upstairs in Circuit Court on Pantera, so hopefully we'll make more progress with collecting those back taxes from them.
Maybe stop back and give us a little update on how they do.
I will.
We did get a phone call from Pantera, and they wanted to kind of have a meeting with us as a commission to kind of share some of their thoughts going forward with the training facility. And we hopefully kind of set a date sometime today and see if we can get back to it and see if it works with this schedule to meet about that.
They paid some of the money, but they're still way behind. And of course, my chief tax director, she's all I want to get a figure before I went up there. I'm sure the attorneys will have it, but I'm not sure. I think somewhere around probably close to $60,000. Would you say, Greg? Probably looking at it somewhere around there. Yeah. But other than that, that's about all I got to report. If you don't have any questions.
I think probably when you get back sometime, at the end of the meeting, we'll have an executive session. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate all the support you give me.
Appreciate all you do.
Thank
you. Sheriff, if you wouldn't mind, would you open the door and see if there is a Michelle Ritchie outside there?
Sure.
Because she is next on our agenda.
No, she's not out there.
All right. Right. And so that brings us to Dr. Megan Webb with Eastern West Virginia Community and Technical College.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Got folders for y'all. Sorry about that. There we go.
But these are all federal court cases. So we're taking all those, so we
Would you
can
like
get a lot more data.
Ma'am,
I think
please.
that's really-
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, thank you. All right. And this paper is good morning. Thank you all so much for having me here. My name is Megan Webb. I serve as Dean of Advancement and Innovation. And I'd like to mention Mr. Greenwald behind me. He serves as our Board of Governors President. So, Greg, please feel free to share anything that you want.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming today.
Yes, yes. It's a pleasure to be here. On behalf of the college, we wanted to take the opportunity to visit with you all and share some of our initiatives and just also formalize an engagement and connection opportunity. I spoke with our President Strickland, Thomas Strickland, this morning, and he does send his regards, and he would like to also visit with you and schedule a meeting in the coming months with the Garrett Community College president, who collaboratively they are working on an initiative to address paramedic needs, as much of the discussion this morning. Additionally, I wanted to highlight on behalf of our workforce education department some of the new training programs that we are working on. And not only have we reinvigorated our CDL training program, but we're also advancing our partnerships with Allegheny Community College. We have an industrial maintenance training program. We're continuing to collaborate in Mineral County at the Mineral County Vocational Center with the welding training program. We have also applied for a appropriations federal earmark for heavy equipment operators that is currently in the appropriations, and if so passed, then we would receive $1.4 million to initiate a heavy equipment operator training program. That was a new initiative. Additionally, on our academic side, but still yet on our workforce training aspects, we have been working on revitalizing our auto tech training program. We also have the only wind technology training program in the state of West Virginia. We have also submitted for a National Science Foundation grant, which would help with our high school STEM education, but then additionally potentially an electrical car certification training program. We are also working in cyberspace and working on developing a cyber training program. We also, I was remiss, we started a solar technology training program. Our first cohort completed that earlier this fall. Our next class will begin January 16th. But that is the first solar technology training program, 6-week hybrid course with a 2-day in person. We're developing solar assays on campus, both inside and external. In addition to that, we have been working on a hospitality training program, given the growth of tourism and the need in this region. We serve a 6-county region, of course: Grant, Tucker, Hardy, Pendleton, Mineral, and Hardy County. So, wanted to mention some of those efforts in regard to our workforce education training programs. In addition to that, you all may have heard of our agricultural workforce development training programs. In the folders, there's an ag impact statement. You may have heard about our agriculture workforce development training. We have horticulture management systems, agribusiness diversification and value adding. We have farm business management, and we have livestock management systems. Those are micro-credential short-term training programs for both early entrants, adult learners, those in the field as well. So we've been blessed that that program, which was originally supported and continually until the end of December 31st, 2025, supported by a USDA Ag Food Research Initiative grant. Also, we have a Potomac Highlands Producers Food Box program, which does offer SNAP benefit eligibility. We've provided more than 395 to the local community members for purchasing and we are purchasing and reselling goods for a 20% upcharge, which mainly covers just our unboxing content. But our students are able to learn more about where their food comes from. We're supporting the local economy by purchasing local goods and highlighting direct to our traveling and consumers areas where they can obtain local source food. So we're very excited for that initiative, as well as our agritourism efforts. We'll be having another agritourism summit in March of 2025. In addition to our workforce education and our agricultural for workforce education training program. I did want to also mention some new efforts that we have in our foundation. Our foundation is growing, and we're very, very thankful because we, being a very young institution of only 20 years of age, have an opportunity to create endowments. We first started an endowment with Clearway Energy, the Chemical and Wind Technology Training Program, for $20,000. Then we embarked on an opportunity through what's known as a Title III award through the Department of Education. And through that Title III award that we received for $2.25 million to strengthen our institution and provide better services to our community, as our mission statement is to provide accessible and affordable education, the technical and workforce training programs. We wanted to create an endowment that was more substantial in the fact that it could offer students across our region more scholarships to seek their academic degree programs and career pathways. And so through our foundation currently, and in these folders, there's a letter that highlights the levels of giving and the dollar-for-dollar match opportunity that we do have. This match opportunity lasts through 2026 currently, and our goal is to raise $50,000 per year. And with that $50,000, we can turn that into $100,000 for a maximum of $300,000, or a total of $300,000, a maximum of a $150,000 match. And so we're looking at creating our first, and our goal is to fundraise to create an endowment of a substantial scale so that we can return more scholarship opportunities to our students, and that interest that is earned will continue, of course, to grow. So I wanted to highlight that to the commission for any consideration in budgetary planning in the future, and also wanted to mention, as far as initiatives, we have worked very closely with Hardy County School System, and something that they have shared with us is that it would be wonderful if their high school seniors were graduating with an associate's degree. And I wanted to point out that the tuition for early entrance is $40 per credit. And so thinking, I'm certainly not abreast to the budgetary constraints and confinements, but thinking of opportunities or ways to advance Hardy County youth may be to consider some potential cost assistance from the commission to seek early entrance opportunities. So I wanted to share that. And I also wanted to share from a workforce education side, those trainings that were previously mentioned, separate from our academic side of the house, that qualify for FAFSA. Workforce education actually does not have FAFSA qualifications. So these are traditional degree, academic degree programs here that would qualify for FAFSA. Accounting, allied health, automotive technology, business management, biological environment technology, early childhood development, nursing, wind energy technology. But those such as welding, clinical medical assistant, or CNA, or phlebotomy, those do not qualify for FAFSA because they're under our workforce education arm. And so it is by the state that students must be graduated high school to then qualify for the higher education of adult program funding, which is up to $2,000. Majority of our training programs range from $21.95 to our CDL program at $6,000. And so my point is that in a need of workforce development, to get young people into workforce trades quicker, it may be plausible to consider what the county could consider to help these high school students advance. With our solar training grant right now, which lasts for another year and a half, we're able to offer high school students that opportunity at a rate of $200. Of course, that is not a break-even model. So as we receive these grants and we build these programs, that's excellent, but there is an end to all. The same with our ag workforce development training programs. Most of those are a rate of $15 a training program. That is supported by a $500,000 USDA award. So as those programs become built but close, we have to consider And I wanted to share some of this information with you all. Be happy to have any further conversations, as well as our president, Dr. Thomas Strickland. We would be happy to visit with you if there was any potential consideration or interest in this matter. But with our foundation, we are working on branding, and we are branding buildings, entryways on campus, so there's lots of opportunity for your consideration as well. Ray, anything on this?
No, I think you've done an excellent presentation.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Any questions from anyone?
When you go back to the SNAP benefits, okay, so like, that was mentioned among a bunch of other things. So now, do you have numbers for how many people are taking advantage of this? Because it was something that came out. There's a program called Food and Farm Friends, and I just heard them talking about it. You know, SNAP Stretch, and there were little things that you would like to see fixed. That's what the issue was. Like, people weren't being made aware that, for example, a farmer's market accepted this, so they weren't taking advantage of it. You know, so the money's out there, but the people aren't going to. So that's the kind of question, and I don't know if you can speak to that at all. But you know, I just heard this, and so I was trying to look through the literature to see if there was any more information about it. But I don't know if you have any additional information about that.
I can share what I know.
Okay.
I'm not the most current today.
Okay.
The SNAP program, of course, is a part of the current farm bill that is implementing.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Here, hopefully before January 1st. And we have worked on a VISTA training program. That's a federal program. We just conducted interviews. We'll be able to expand some of our existing capacity. And one of those capacity items is our SNAP Stretch program.
Okay.
We do not have SNAP Stretch currently.
Okay.
I am not the most abreast to SNAP Stretch, but it allows you to stretch your dollar
Yeah.
for what you
Yeah.
buy, I
Yes.
believe. And I don't know the details.
Okay.
We do not have the SNAP Stretch implemented, but we do have SNAP. That brings up a good point. We should probably increase and reinvigorate our marketing of SNAP to make sure that's well known in the community.
Right.
About 20% the last time that I looked. We offer up to 40 boxes a month. We're sold out for November. I would have to check with our program coordinator.
Okay.
Last time I looked at that data, it was about 20% of the boxes sold.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question for you. I don't know if I can get it explained where you, well, I know you understand. The nursing program. That is what, 3 or 4 year program?
That is a 2-year program, but it's a fast track program. So
Well, then my question is if you start it this year, then there's no enrollment till the end of that. In other words, if you hit the off year, you're just spit out luck, basically.
and we're overseen
Is
by
there any way to make it to where it would be offered let's just take more help?
we're regulated by the nursing board. I'm not the most current. We just secured some donations to support the program.
I knew someone that graduated and was wanting to get in, but they hit the off year.
A little more familiar, but we did gain approval to go from 20 students to 30 students. And we just gained that about a year ago. So that's some good news. I don't have another solution, but I can share that with President Strickland and.
Well, I mean, I just thought, man, it'd be good if it could be all the way, somebody wouldn't have. Because
Absolutely.
if they sit around and don't do something for a year, it's hard to, where did they go if they're interested?
Right.
Could they have taken any classes? Like, could they have started while they were in high school? Is that any possibility?
With the nursing program, no, but what they can do is they can get a leg up with their entrance.
So they could have done that. Is that correct?
Kind of jump started.
They can get jump started with like a phlebotomy or medical assistant.
That's where the dual credit program in the K-12 system is just so absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
She touched on it a while ago, trying to get an AS degree coming out of K-12. With all those pre-classes, and they're very economical classes for the families to be able to afford. And whether they choose, we hope they do to come to Eastern, but whether they take those credits and go wherever they desire, it is very economical for the families, it's very beneficial, and it gives them a really head start and a jump up on starting a college career. For a lot of those students in that K-12 system that takes those classes, this is an opportunity to try the college life out. And if they find that it is something that they really want to proceed and go forward with, it's a good basic. And if they don't, then at least they know what's there. And so, yes. Some of the problems with the nursing is space. We are so limited with the size space that we have available, and to be able to try the 1-year classes and the 2-year classes is coordination being able to do that.
Going from 20 to 30 should be
It's a big help.
program. For sure.
Big help.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for the information.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been going for about 90 minutes so far. I'm going to ask for a 5-minute recess to allow us to reconnect. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you for your indulgence.
I'll leave it at the bathroom.
We'll call the meeting back to order.
Maybe you should call it the water cooler.
The water cooler. Mally, don't get comfortable. Like I say, we've received the quarterly report for the RDA, and since we're at that point there, further on down the agenda is the RDA board request to reappoint Darby Clayton and Harold Michael for terms to expire in September of 2026. And Mally, if there's anything else you'd like to share with us.
The one thing is the health department, we have been working, trying to get the appraisal. The appraisal's 45 days is up on November the 16th, but we'll continue to try to work on that. USDA is ready for us to do that, but once we get the appraisal, then it has to be submitted to them for their review. So we're probably looking the end of November, 1st of December before we can actually close.
Okay.
And yes, we have a very good board and a very active board. So I would recommend reappointment of Darby and also Harold.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 3 ayes. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Are you aware that Harold has had a birthday here lately, recently?
Yeah, but it's been, is it today?
I don't know.
I think it was back in October.
I thought it was in
Yeah,
October, but I don't know
Just
that.
recently, today,
Yeah.
and I didn't know he was out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mally.
Thank you.
Greg Greenwald, Potomac Valley Transit Authority, update and report. We're going to go into executive session at the end.
Okay.
For that, with the sheriff.
Fair enough. Well, like everyone else, we'll give you something to spend time with.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. One more here, I think.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I just found it interesting. I just had a little discussion with Mr. Posey from Contracts, and I think you all are aware that we are, as you will see in the back of that overview, that we are working on a hydrogen facility for PVTA at Green County. And actually, we are, you don't mind if I stand, I hope. We are actually acquiring some of the property that the West Virginia Rail Authority transferred over to the state entities, the multimodal, before they, and we are somewhat one of the stumbling blocks of them being able to get their contract done. Because we had to get the property at Grant County surveyed, deed prepared, and transferred over to PVTA and state public transit division before they could consummate the contract. So that facility ground there is where the proposed proposed hydrogen production will be built. And part of that field and the adjacent property owned by the Grant County RDA, Rural Development, will be transferred as well for the installation of the solar field. Now, our two U.S. senators have secured, and it will tell you that in the back of that publication, the money for all the engineering and the development phases, and we are now insured the $925 million that was just recently appropriated for the hub in West Virginia. Of course, the primary will be at Morgantown, but part of that money is used for the construction of this facility in Grant County. So we are well on our way of being able to do that. So the reason I found it interesting to have a conversation with him, he just told us that they have applied for a grant to buy 5 hydrogen-powered locomotives, which I find really interesting. And we will be having a conversation not only for their potential need, but part of the issue for us is state transportation is looking at this facility to be able to supply hydrogen, not just for the PVTA, but we will likely provide it maybe even for the Department of Highways, municipalities, and others who may have need, and we need a way to transport it out of the production to the areas that we will be required to serve. State transportation is in the process of expanding PVTA quite a lot. Matter of fact, they're going to, they want us to move into Morgan County. They want us to move into Tucker. And we just recently, the Department of Highways is transporting acreage to us that is adjacent to their sign shop at Burlington to build a new maintenance facility for us at that location to service Mineral, Hampshire, and probably Morgan. Just too far for us to get the vehicles from there back into Grant County. So we have hydrogen buses that are in process of ordering through the state. We are growing leaps and bounds. As you look through there, you will see that the ridership in 2018 was 92,000, and through June of 23, it's jumped to 159,000. So the numbers of people that we are transporting is just significantly up. Mileage the same way, 765,000 up to 980,000 in just a few years. The Ready Ride is something that you all see here in town, and most people really don't understand, and they don't pay a lot of attention to. The little buses you see for PVTA running around town, for simplicity, it's a glorified taxi service. You call a number, they'll come to your residence, pick you up, our business, or whatever it is, take you where you need to go. You call, they'll come get you and take you back home. Now, we have updated that in Mineral County more to an automated system, and that will be expanded throughout the region of service to where you'll be able to do that more now off of your iPhone, and you'll be able to see the location and the estimated time of arrival of the bus electronically. So all that's being updated. But look at the numbers. The Ready Ride system was initiated in 2018, and that year we had 15,000 riders. In 23, it's jumped to 52,000 riders, and it is just phenomenally growing. Mineral County, by far the most, we're running 2 to 3 buses down there daily, and of course some of that has to do with the college. But it is just growing. Work routes in 2018 was 25,000 people. Last year we transported 69,000 people. We run buses basically 24/7 into Pilgrims, coming from all over, out of Cumberland and all over. We just initiated a 3rd route for Trex. We have 2 in operation currently, and they just asked to stay everyone coming out of Cumberland. They hope to divert it. Right now it's going through Romley and the end to Trex. They are looking for us to divert some of that out of Morgan, pick up the Berkeley Springs type of people, get them into Trex and Winchester. We go to sheltered workshops. We have the transportation of individuals is just growing. So what they're proposing to do up here is they're going to expand the facility, get us more people, more buses, and there are some other things that are in the work that's going on there. Right now, we have an average of about 30 full-time drivers and about 30 part-time. That's one of the headaches we have, is finding people who compete with Pilgrims and other entities for those certified drivers. And so that's the other part of it. For those, you all, I work for you, you all appoint me to represent Hardy County to this board. Each county within that region has a representation, and each town has a representation. In Hardy County, I represent Hardy, and Doug Mungold represents the town of Moorfield. So we're the two people who serve on the PVTA board at this time. Let's see. You know that when you go through there, just look later when you have time at the production facility that's being planned. It is enormous. I had the occasion last year to go to out of state to a facility that is already in operation, and it's very fascinating and very interesting.
How far out are you on delivery of these buses?
The buses, right now, believe it or not, you can get hydrogen-powered buses quicker than you can get diesel-powered buses. We have 4, I think, small buses supposed to come in this week or next. They got slightly delayed because they were mechanical doors, comical things. Shortages is everywhere. You couldn't get parts for mechanical doors. We can get parts for electric doors, but they had $3,000 for the cost of the buses. So we just voted actually yesterday to approve the extra expenditure so we can get them here. Our buses, for the most part, are running 200 to 300,000 miles. They are wore out. And the state hasn't really purchased many new buses for any of the state transportation agencies for the last 3 years. So it is an issue, and it causes a lot of concerns because of downtime and not being able to be scheduled, like Trex. Some of you are aware, a few weeks ago, we had a very serious accident on Route 50 going in. We were deadheaded unfortunately, with a POV that did not survive the driver. But that left Trex without those employees for that period of time until we were able to work through that. So to answer your question, the facility that I went to visit, we're operating natural gas, propane, hydrogen. I had a chance to ride in all of the above, electric, and they have decided, because you can't know high, they have decided electric will not work. Our state transportation decided it's not going to work for us. The recharging time frame is just way too long. The distance is way too short, and the cost is phenomenally as high as it is to buy the hydrogen. We can get between 300 miles or so out of a hydrogen fill up. It fills up just basically the same as you would with gas or propane. You pull up the station, hook it up, pump the tank, and you're ready to go. So anyway, part of that comes back to the training. There's going to be a lot of job opportunities. There was a seminar that Senator Manchin and Capito had last week that I did attend. It was a Zoom conference, and they were really, really pushing the necessity of the training and the number of employments and job opportunities the state was going to see coming out of this new power source. So I think we are well on the way. I think that PVTA has done a lot for our communities, not just Hardy, but the counties surrounding us. And it's given an opportunity because we see a lot of elderly people, particularly, that are struggling being able to get to and from medical appointments. And one of the things that we do a lot of, it's called NEMT, which is non-emergency medical transport. But we take people to Morgantown or Winchester or wherever they need to go on a non-emergency medical routine doctor visits. And we do a lot of those. We also do a lot of a program called SOAR, which is transport of people involved in the narcotics for rehabilitation and so forth. We do a lot of that, and that's not only throughout the state, but in states around us. It's a really worthwhile thing. The work side of it is not just for companies like Pilgrims and Trex and so forth. The sheltered workshops that we take these kids who are having some difficulties to those places where they can earn a little money, they can learn a little bit of a trade, and it's, you know, and when you see the smiles on their faces and you see a bus with a busload of those kids, and you realize just the importance of that, getting them out of the home and getting there, what it means to them. So I really want to thank the county for the contributions and the support of the PVTA, and encourage you to, you know, continue to do that as you get on the road, because they have done, I think, a tremendous job with the amount of money and assets that they have. So I will try to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, so this is one of the most important things when in the county: transportation, housing. If you
Yes.
do a forum about the most important things, then it'll be housing and transportation. Those two things are key issues. Let's pay attention to the Ready ride.
Yes.
Yes, the number increases are substantial, no question about it, and it's pretty exciting to hear. So this is kind of like Uber, this new thing you're doing,
Yes.
right? The new, how it will, and anyone who has that, anyone who downloads that can request a ride from PBTA. Is that
Yeah,
right?
now we have boundaries. For
Okay,
instance,
there's
if it's within the town and there's a geographic area.
Around there.
Basically, it's a tannery down to as far as Walmart and up the road, it's within the municipality
Okay.
type area. So unfortunately,
Yeah, right.
when you get to like the rural area of Baker, it's not economically feasible to try to do at this time. I won't say that down the road it won't expand, but it is in Franklin, Petersburg, Moorfield, Bromley, and Kaiser right now.
Okay.
And it started out a little bit here, a little there, but it has just grown so fast. And you know, you look at the cost of transportation for vehicles today. You look at people trying to survive on Social Security. They can't afford to own a vehicle, but yet they still need to get to the store and doctor appointments and places. And this gives them that ability without having to try to call up their son or the daughter or a next door neighbor, say, can you take me? It gives them the independence to be able to do that. So yes, the numbers just staggering.
Oh, it is staggering.
When you look at that.
Greg, we talked about the
Yes.
facility Pilgrims is going to be put in place here sometime in the next 12 months or so over here, 160 some units. Does PVTA have any kind of an idea of what kind of impact that may have on the routes? Although it sounds like there are many other avenues that are going to keep PVTA busy. Has that impact been assessed?
We do a lot of transport with that group of people already, and we hope that the new technology will simplify. The biggest problem we've had the last few years is the language barrier. Now, we have tried to work with Pilgrims, who has made available translators that we can use sometimes, but when you have that many different dialectal languages, sometimes we have tried to use the simplistic child approach to you put something on there where they can point where they want to go. You know, you can put Walmart and they understand what that is, and and I don't mean this to be, that they are, it's just, we don't understand them, nor do they understand us to some degree. So trying to make it
Is
easy.
that needed at the driver or the dispatcher or both?
Well, it is both, because the dispatcher struggles to understand when they,
Apps on the phone.
right, and that's where what's helping a lot. But then again, not all of those people have access to a phone, and that's some of the struggles we're going to have with the new system, even because it's more based with electronics and the technology. But there are ways to work around some of that. Some of those things are that they have learned to create a little piece of paper saying where they want to go. And of course, part of the problem is if we do then get a call to go to Walmart and take them up and take them home, where's home? Well, they can't tell you where home is, but sometimes they can give you something that says I live at 123 Chipwood Lane. So there are ways that you try to work around, but it's the same way with the school system. I mean, the school system has struggled heavily with the language problem, and it hasn't affected us a lot at the college. I think predominantly with the time, and we have some really good students that has come out of that group that's attending classes, but by that time they picked up the language and they're able to communicate with us in English. But it is an issue, and it's not an easy answer to it because it's just not, you can't say that it's, well, you speak Spanish, but the different dialects of the Spanish, it's just makes it more difficult. But anyway, any other questions or anything? I will, if you, at your pleasure, and it is at your pleasure, will continue to try to represent you the best that I can. I currently serve as the vice chair of the board. And it's interesting, Doug is the secretary of the board. So out of the 4 positions that are officers in PVTA, 2 are from Grant and 2 are from Hardy. The other counties really don't have anybody serving in those capacities. So I think we have tried to represent the county as best we can, and we will continue to do so. But any questions, give me a shout.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Believe the next item on the agenda is county litter control, and I believe Commissioner Sheeper might have put that on there
Yes.
for a point of discussion.
Well, we're working, I have reached out. It was more having to do with the clean up the dumps, site cleanup that we're working on. So I don't think I'll be ready to move forward on anything. I talked with the person who's helping with that, and we're scheduling a meeting for November.
Okay, and you'll let us know what the date is for that. Absolutely. Pickup, hopefully in time to recruit maybe some 4-H members, FFA members, students need some community service hours to help get that. Yes. Taken care of. The other, next thing on the agenda is scheduling a meeting with legislators. One of the things that over the course of our discussions with members of the County Commissioners Association is one of the things that they basically have done in other counties, which I don't know that has ever been done here. It may have been, but basically have the county commission invite legislators in for a meal or lunch, and basically have the opportunity to visit with them about current legislation and to hear some of the things from them in an informal kind of setting. And I think that there was consensus that we wanted to try to do that.
Yes.
Obviously, the meals, that would be out of our pockets as citizens and elected officials for the others to come and attend, but to do that. And I guess the reason for it being on the agenda today is to see if that is an avenue that we would like to have our county coordinator pursue in finding a date that our legislators might come for lunch or dinner.
And I thought maybe we should give her 3 dates. We should give her 3 dates. She can put those 3 dates out to them, and that way, she's not going back and forth
Right.
like 10 times trying to get a date.
Thank you.
Do we have any kind of we're coming into the holiday season here this month, and of course I'm sure legislatively they're going to be having some. If we have to done before the end of the year.
But we were not getting, we're going to need to do it by like maybe 1st of December type of time frame would be the latest we can do it.
I'll do something to work around. Yeah, we've got that going on and some other commitments there. December's never good. You're going to be gone next week. I'm going to be gone the last week of November. And so that leaves us a few dates in between, but not very many. The week of the 20th is Thanksgiving week, and most everybody will be out in the woods with family and friends.
You got like Monday the 27th, that day.
Monday the 27th might be a good date. Might be one good one.
It's there, it's kind of, after Thanksgiving, before December starts up.
All right, let's circle that one.
Monday, 27th, Wednesday.
See if 27 works. What other dates? I know I'm gonna be going the 28th, 29th.
Okay.
First.
Next Thursday.
After that,
Next Thursday, Friday, 16th and 17th. Got a Region 8 somewhere. Is that the executive board?
yes.
Is that the 16th?
16th,
Yeah,
yes.
I got that one down
Yeah, I have, there's a meeting in the evening.
there. Yeah, I got a meeting that evening. Maybe Friday evening, 17th. Try that one. Football game's over.
Football games are over,
Basketball hadn't started yet.
not yet, but will be.
All right, let's try that.
Started soon.
27th and 17th, there's 2 dates. Can we find another one? Fifteenth, the housing center.
That's how.
That's the housing summit.
That'll be at the 911 center.
Yes.
Yes.
All made those arrangements for it.
It's been catered.
Yeah, we're having an hors d'oeuvre starting at 4, some cocktail.
Finger food, I thought.
Finger food, yes.
Well, shrimp cocktails, finger food, right?
What about 3-day-old pizza?
That should work.
The 17th, what about Wednesday, the 29th?
I know I'm gonna be out of town.
You'll be out of town, okay.
You said the 28th.
Oh, that's right,
Tuesday?
you said
28th, 29th, 30th, and 1st,
Okay.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Dave, to answer your question, Region 8 used to do that with the legislative, and we had actually talked about it before Terry Lively got sick and then ultimately ended up retiring the end of October. So it would be a good opportunity now for Hardy County to
Yeah.
pick that up
I-
independently.
Did you have another date? Wednesday, December 6th, maybe?
Did we say the 4th? Did we have anything on the 4th, that Monday the 4th?
That's our ag meeting in Buchanan legislative
Okay.
meeting. But the 6th of
The
December, that would be a good one.
Or the 7th? Because there's nothing that looks like,
I could do 7th.
6th or 7th, okay.
what, do you need, use that as an option or just?
Yeah.
Okay.
November 17, November 27th, December 6th or 7th.
Are we doing, what time of the evening? Are we gonna just,
What do you think? Do you think lunch or evening? And I'd say Mullins would be a good place to go. They have a kind of a meeting room there where, you can, kind of get together. Information session, absolutely. One of the ideas was that, not only do we take to them some of the things that we're concerned about, but also to hear from them what they need help doing, because they work real hard. And, sometimes, when we go to them, we're always going asking. And so this is an opportunity for them to maybe ask us how we can help and some of the initiatives that they have. And so we thought it would be a good idea. It sounds like other counties have done this effectively, building relationships with their local legislative representatives at the state level, and we thought it was something that we should discuss. So, all right, let's see if we can get something scheduled those dates at lunch or dinner. Lunch or dinner, or supper, whatever, however you term it.
David, which legislators are you inviting?
Our state senators, Randy Smith and Jay Taylor, and our delegate Ward, and we had also talked about JP Hott, since JP and Brian share a room when they're down there in the legislature. But certainly we all know, and having him come down from Grant County would be beneficial, we think, to us as well, since we do go to him too with issues, because he's a known. And Rick down at Hampshire County.
Oh, yeah, Rick Hillenbrand, yeah.
Yeah.
Rick Hillenbrand, perhaps, represents Hampshire County.
Senator House.
Say that.
Delegate, he's delegate.
He's Doug.
Yeah. And I thought about Rick the other day, we were in that meeting, and he showed up, it was,
Oh, yeah, developer.
yeah,
The
Originate
Originate
meeting, and he was there, and he seems very interested in our community at large.
And he's extremely active,
I like
very engaged.
He did show up when we had the meeting with state transportation about what was going on with this expansion. He came to that as well.
No doubt that. He's very engaged.
He's very engaged,
He's been engaged with the railroad issue.
Right.
Yeah. He's
So
very
maybe
engaged.
an invite to him as well.
Jonathan? Or not?
Well,
Cause I know at one time we,
I would recommend that you just.
let's
keep
just keep it,
your
yeah, let's just keep it our own
Yeah, yeah.
at this
Because
point.
we do work with Jonathan on other
Yeah.
things. With our
Jonathan and
legislation.
Just wanted to
This
make
one
sure.
is, look, you know.
This is for us.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This is for our little corner of the world here. And those that help represent it, so.
not a problem,
Jonathan, as you're talking about dates, did you all decide on anything about Christmas in the courthouse?
waiting for you,
Waiting for me,
waiting for
Yeah,
you.
you got some dates?
not yet, I'll look.
Oh, no. Oh,
Hot
no.
potato, we're passing the potato.
Well, we definitely know we would like to do one, and get our county
11, 12, 13, not good for me.
11, 12, and 13 in December.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Just get with me,
Okay,
please.
I believe you did check the courthouse, or the judges did.
I will check the judges. So J 11 through the 13th, that's no for you.
Well, I hate to eat 2 million in one day.
Yeah, we
So
already
that's
did
true.
this
Yeah,
one
because
on
you're
the
going,
11th.
yeah.
I can't
Yes,
eat
we
with
do.
somebody.
And then there's, I have an Eastern community college dinner on the 13th. So that's, yeah, that's a, yeah.
When they say that we don't earn our keep.
Yeah.
Get some
Okay.
exercise equipment.
Paul has a good one. I hate to miss it.
Yeah, Paul does a real good job. We appreciate Paul for that. All right, so we'll see what kind of dates, Wendy, you can find out, help us get that together, and then check with Mullins as well. And then that's something, save your pen at the end of the month. We'll go ahead and offer to pay the bill for that evening. Next on the agenda, and did you find out, Greg, if that was the budget revision?
That was what, Orrin took care of at the special.
All right, so that was taken care of.
That was the
Lucas,
budget revision.
but
But the prosecutor, Lucas C., on one thing goes together with the dog pound.
oh, okay.
Because, and we can call Jim. Jim is asking for a document, but Lucas needs to come in just to verify how that document will be written up and, make sure all of our bases are covered. This would allow, this potentially would allow, what's that?
Adoption.
Yes, it would allow Jim to have a paper, that potential, prospective adopters of animals could sign, and that would help us with this bottleneck that we're experiencing at the dog pound currently.
Let me see.
I can.
Orange and court, I do know that.
I know Lucas said this morning he was available.
They did someone. Is today adoption day? I saw, when I was taking Riley to school, I saw a bunch of people congregating, so.
I saw them out in front of the courthouse.
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
They can authorize that, just like Jim could give that big shot out there himself.
No, Jim can't. It has to be administered by a licensed veterinary technician or in the presence of a veterinarian. I know that from our rabies vaccination clinic. You can't just have some certified veterinarian or veterinary technician supervisor has to administer the rabies vaccine. Because if it is not administered by one of the two of them, if somebody gets bit, somebody dies, somebody goes to jail. Yeah, I know that for sure. But wormer, Dr. Parisi said she could provide wormer.
She's already given us wormer for the
We
pound.
bought wormer for her pound, which that takes care of a
This
lot of
one
it.
there, I stopped on his way upstairs. And said, sometimes the form for adoption, said no problem.
Okay, the form, as long as we let him know what to do. Okay. So we need to-
Okay.
We don't need to call Jim then.
Right, so the building to store food at the dog pound, we picked up the freezers that, can secure the food that, is purchased for the pound. And any further info on the steel crates or the,
So the discussion is, Jim doesn't want, when we went to Tractor Supply, when Stephen and Jay and myself went to Tractor Supply, Jim does not want the kennels outside. So that's where we're at a standstill as far as, do we want to pursue Jesse Bierkamp? He provided Jim with a verbal estimate of $1,300 for these steel crates. Or do we want to go to Tractor Supply and just go ahead and get two of the kennels that we looked at, and they were like $400 a piece? I think that the kennels would be more room than what the crates would. That's just my opinion, and that looks like that's a problem that we have out there.
About the better ones we thought.
Yeah, that's the-
Not just the.
No, that's the welded, the
Yeah,
heavier.
they look funny.
I have them, I've used them, and they're very well made.
You reckon Jim's thinking that the other one, that he's got not really seen these other items.
And then
He didn't, I didn't
I guess we
understand
put them out there and see if they turn the pieces in already.
these ones from Tractor
One
Supply.
Supply.
Because he was saying that he wanted,
Three or four.
He said he wanted the plastic ones.
then he said he wanted the plastic
Which I thought
crates.
that's what we were trying to get away from. That's,
And
you know, it's interesting, that's a debate, or that's an ongoing concern at solid waste meetings, is the, damaged plastic pet carriers and crates, that they have a large quantity of broken plastic crates that come into the solid waste transfer station. And unfortunately, they're all damaged in the same spot. So it's not like you can pull the top off of one and
And
put
use
it
it for
on the
another
bottom
one.
of another. They're all damaged on the same half that's there, which kind of is an engineering marvel to me that somebody had, well, planned obsolescence.
so we could, approve the Tractor Supply and just, that's what is there, that's what needs to be.
And there's room to put those there along the building.
One, two, what?
You can.
How many?
What do you think?
Yeah, how many?
the one that we looked at down there,
You can put a middle thing and then that would handle two dogs basically, right?
yeah,
So
for the most part, yeah.
like one of those with a middle, divider handle two dogs.
Two of them there?
I think initially we had said two,
We had
just to
said
have
I
it.
think, I think we just get two and we have some nails out there, just put them together.
They're not hard to put together at all. It's basically the brackets with bolts
Put
and
them out there and when Jim drives in, he'll see them, he'll be there.
when I told Jim, when I talked to him, I did tell Jim what we were leaning toward, and I said, I can pay for them at Tractor Supply, and if you wanna go pick them up, or I'm sure that Anthony at the parks or somebody out there would run them out if Jim did not wanna pick them up. I just think that the crates are gonna be, we're wasting our money for them.
I'll make a motion that we purchase two of those from Tractor Supply.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Three ayes, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Wendy, will you take care of ordering those two crates?
Yes,
We
the,
need Roman to take them out, put them up, grind them up.
I'll ask.
Figure it out.
On that same vein,
Be Manson, they might.
we continue,
I'm sorry,
it
Matt.
Manson them out there.
That's what-
continues to sound like we have a problem with people dumping dogs at the pound. Do we need to think about at sometime in the very near future getting a camera for out there, strategically placed to get license plate numbers and other identifying information that could be used to.
It would be good to have, you have argumental stuff then when they almost get accused of dog being dump, well, not dump, but being there with no food or water. And then if there wasn't one there when Jim was just there, half hour after he leaves, somebody dumps two in, then 15 minutes later, somebody drives in, well, there's two dogs in there with no food and water. And they weren't there 45 minutes already. You could look back on the tape and prove that point real easy.
I think that we're gonna need to talk about the Wi-Fi out there.
Hardtail's got a station plate.
So that shouldn't be much of an issue, right?
Right.
And then we can get like those Arlo cameras, like we could have, like.
Yeah, I think Jim said there's some things come up missing out there too.
He says that sometimes he's had crates out there that's been decent and people have actually stolen. And they, some
So
people
that
have actually,
might put a sign up too along with it, your own camera, smile. Smile and face on there.
I think we should get the cameras. I think we should get the cameras out
Yeah.
there.
Well, like I say, it's not on our agenda, but
It's not on our
certainly
agenda.
is something
Can't
that
think
we'll-
I'll get prices for cameras
Yep.
and contact party, and then at the December meeting, or if we have another meeting this month, I'll put that on the agenda so we can move forward.
That's great. That's great.
You know,
And
I
polling might have something, you know, they could put
That's
like
true.
a constant monitor and we could just tap into it. Like to do the stoplights.
I don't want to create, you know, I can see this creating extra work for Jim, our dog warden. If people aren't bringing them to the pound and letting them off, he'll have to go out and get them. And that's not my intention to do that, but it is my intention to call to mind irresponsible pet owners for their inability to do what they need to do in order to prevent animals from winding up in our care.
Yeah.
And
One more thing that we need to make sure that it's being done, and that's the clean out of that building.
yes,
Jim said that he could do it. He said that he could handle that, but that's the thing we need to verify that he's done. He has a key, and he said that he would clean that up, and now those freezers are there, so, because if he
We
won't,
can use that building for the freezers for now.
yes, we can absolutely use that building for the freezer. We don't need a building right now. Because if he won't, I know that the Parks Department will help with it, if that's something that's needed.
And if possible, if we need, I don't know what all's in there, but if we need additional help, I'm sure probation can give us some names of some people or day report or something that needs some community service hours to help clean that out. We would just need to coordinate that.
David, what do you want pet owners to do if they're overloaded or they're super young and they want to just get rid of their dog? Okay, where do they take them, or what should they do? Get a life?
they should get them spayed or neutered first to prevent having unwanted animals. And then if they determine that they do not want the animals and can find no place for them, it should be them that takes them to a licensed veterinarian and requests that they be put down.
Put down, okay.
I know it sounds heartless.
No, we just had to do that. We had two feline kittens with feline terrible disease.
Yes.
And we just put them down right there.
And I know it sounds, it's hard call, but people know that we've been trying to operate a no-kill facility in Hardy County, and it's just to the point now where with the shortage of volunteers, we have some people that are willing to volunteer, but with the shortage of volunteers that's there to be able to provide the necessary services, we just have to encourage pet owners to become responsible.
Well, the rising cost of food.
Food costs.
It's a nationwide issue. People buy pets during COVID, and now, they can't take care of them. That's a rising cost. It's a nationwide problem.
No, we had two kittens put down. It was, I think, 30 or 40 per kitten, you know. And they told us, you know, with that kind of disease, the kitten's only going to live half a year maybe. So there was no question. You got to do it.
And you know, we have a feral cat problem. We know that. And there's not a good answer for it right now. It's just not a whole lot of resources. There's not enough resources available to meet the need. And sadly.
Well, the doctor up there, she said to Mary, look, you can keep the kittens, but it's just not going to turn out good. No, just have it done.
Let me give you these figures. In 7 years, one female cat produced 420,000 offspring. 7 years. Just one female dog can produce up to 96,000 offspring. Just one. So when you figure out that we do maybe 100 neuters, how many we might keep out of the system, it's phenomenal. I mean, I think that we need to maybe look into matching a grant for our neuter if that would help.
Yeah. And I have not gotten back to Norm Bailey yet.
Figures are unreal.
But how many spots do we have available? Yeah.
So that was what I was going to cover, but I will
Yep.
cover that now. We have less than $2,100 left in our $14,950 grant that I got.
And that's been what, 2 weeks since
It's
you put that
been-
out? 3 weeks?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks time, we've spent almost $12,000 in spay and neuter reservations in less than 3 weeks time since it was advertised.
Yeah.
We've
On
only
this
took
grant,
out a couple 100,000.
which is great. And at least on this go around, Dr. Parisi's agreed to give the dogs and cats the rabies vaccination for an additional $10 while they're there. And for the cats, what is it, the feline
It's 17.
distemper or
Yeah,
whatever
distemper.
it is, for 17.
I think it's 17. Altogether, I think they would pay $27 if they needed the rabies and the distemper.
We've been actively looking for grants for spay and neuter and for rabies vaccination because, as Bill Ours would tell you, one of the things, and the sheriff came to us this morning right before we began our meeting and showed us another dog bite that had been
Who's the guy
investigated.
that you said you need to talk to about more money?
Oh, Norm Bailey with the West Virginia
Did you
Department of Agriculture.
touch base to him yet?
So I called and emailed.
Left message
And I left a message and emailed, and I haven't done anything. So
and I haven't gotten in touch with him.
I sent that back today.
Yeah, and because he's the one that told me that there were several $1,000s that were left in that account for the year that had not been claimed or used.
And it's my understanding that that's how they base next year's and further, future years.
You get more.
Yeah, so I don't know, since we received our allocation, I don't know, that's where our question was to Norm. I don't know if we can actually get more money, which we, honestly, if the state would give us the money, I have the people, because in fact, I just checked my email and I have 3 messages to return to people, and I know that on your side of the mountain, there's 2 ladies that are forthcoming with applications for numerous cats that they're trying to round up and get accounted for to do the spay.
And I talked yesterday with Justina Mariner with Potomac Highlands Animal Rescue, and she said they are adopting the ones that they can adopt, but people are not adopting animals now at the rate that they were a few years ago. And so it's difficult to find homes for these. We encourage our pet owners to be responsible, get them spayed, neutered, make sure that they get them vaccinated for the appropriate things. And instead of putting it back on the county to do the dirty deed, encourage them, if they don't want their animals anymore, to take them to their veterinarian and do the deed themselves.
Since July, they have taken 20 dogs since July.
20 dogs since July.
And the 12,000 was spent for spay and neuter. but not elimination.
No
No,
elimination.
this is spay and neuter.
No,
That
this
was
is,
the grant.
this is grant.
I think that's what we're going.
Department of Agriculture.
And we do have another grant request in for another vaccination program, right? And we haven't gotten the dollars on that yet, but hopefully that'll be,
And then we'll partner with our local veterinarians too to do
Yes.
I would like to coordinate where we can do one on each side of the county. Where we can do it with Tina and Shane and Tom and Leslie.
yes.
But which of course we talked to, some commissioners at our last
Yes.
conference, and I don't know if that's something that we would want to explore with our health department. Some of the rabies clinics that they said they're making the monies on as well. So we do have a couple avenues. It's just,
We keep working on it,
We just keep working.
chipping away, and doing the best we can. All righty, I see next on our agenda, the GIS bylaw revision. Clerk Ely, do you have any further comments on that?
If I recall, the only things that we modified was the took the secretary out as an elected
Right.
position. That'll be the planning secretary or the GIS board secretary, if one's ever.
It was kind of the change.
And the other one was not to allow, maybe that was in there, but not to allow a member to be a proxy for another company.
Right.
I saw that, yeah.
Was that right? That was in there?
Yeah.
That was it.
So could I get a motion to approve the GIS bylaw revision as presented?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Three ayes, the ayes have it, motion carries. Next, and we had some discussion about this agenda item about Betty Arbogast, and we didn't have a name the last time, wasn't it, for the BZA?
And she may come in.
You had on your agenda appointment, but you didn't have a name,
Name, okay,
but you made the appointment.
we did, so,
But anyway, let me give you a little bit. Steve and I conversed a little bit yesterday, and I had conversations with Betty yesterday, and she was planning on being here today, but unfortunately, I got a call from her brother last night. She fell yesterday. And she spent the night in Romley's hospital. So she texted me this morning to tell me she, again, to remind me that she would not be able to be here, but she's still very much interested in pursuing it. So,
thank you. I'll entertain a motion then that we appoint Betty Arbogast as an alternate for the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Three ayes, the ayes have it. Peggy Moomaw,
No scratching, I don't have it.
scratch you. How about the TV channel? Any update on the TV channel? Party Telecom?
I was waiting on Derek to get me the estimate, and it did not come in this morning.
Okay. All right.
They happen to send me pictures from the chicken we provided. They haven't done.
I have not seen any of the
That'd be great
pictures.
if we could see some pictures. That would be great. That was a pretty, that was a few days ago. Yeah, that was a pretty, that was a great thing that we were able to do there. So
Let's fill everybody in on that real quick.
So the Rural Action Caucus meeting was held in Greenbrier this past weekend, and that brings county commissioners from across the country. It's it's part of NACO, National Association of Counties, and we provided chicken for one of the meals at that event, and we have our Hardy County logo on that and everything. So, and Peggy worked and answered many emails to make sure that was it would be hard to stretch the amount of work that needs to be done for us to be approved to provide chicken at the Greenbrier, even though the Greenbrier already buys chicken from Pilgrims. So, but
How much chicken did you buy?
Three.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
3 bucks.
3 bucks.
Three cases.
So,
And that was not the congressman's.
but it took what we had to do to provide that is that's the story there.
But we wanted to make sure that those fellow commissioners from across the country had the opportunity to taste a little West Virginia while they were here.
I mean, yeah.
And
They donated.
and Pilgrims,
Pilgrims
with Peggy's help,
We just wanted to.
with
we
Peggy,
just helped, Peggy helped line it up.
She absolutely.
So
Well, because we go
thank
to
Peggy
Austin,
for that.
they have their Travis County, all their stuff, and they're showing, all the things about, which is great, but we wanted to do it for West Virginia in Hardy County.
So we got it done. Wendy, county
Yes, sir.
coordinators report.
Would you like for me to come there? Can I sit here?
Well, you can sit there and talk loud
I'll
unless
talk loud.
Peggy can get you on camera.
I have in your packet of information, the invoice for the EMS Salary Enhancement Fund. I submitted the invoice to the West Virginia DHHR BPH office 110.5. The amount of our invoice was $143,763.21. It's for the Salary Enhancement Crisis Response Grant of 2023. There's also an email that follows in your packet with that. And we have to, as enlisteds came today, and we have not received.
When I was at the MSAC meeting last Thursday, because I asked them about that, and they're waiting for responses from like 2 counties or something. And after those 2 counties respond, then they will disperse the
They
checks.
said they were gonna release any until the head office survived.
Yeah, that's what they're waiting on. And there's like a couple counties that still haven't responded.
Yeah, because that had to be done.
A
There
while
was a
back.
deadline.
Yeah.
What was the rush?
Well,
Yeah,
I
I thought
know, like I know,
To me,
that's true.
If they don't wanna fill out the form, just send them in,
Shouldn't
get
count
them in the money.
Yeah, it's about that amongst the counties that did give
Yeah.
us the invoice. Also, in my packet, there's, the West Virginia DEP and Chesapeake Bay Trust grant. That's something that, I received by email. I'm gonna let you guys look at that and see if that's something that we wanna look at, or possibly with anything with our rivers, streams. It's a watershed assisted grant program. Apparently, this is being offered, for the first time in West Virginia. Usually it's actually just in the Maryland region. So if you want me to look further into this, I can, or if we have a different, project. I don't know if any of that you all have talked to about the stream work or the river work, if anybody has any ideas for anything or cost or anything like that.
I will tell you this, as we have been meeting this morning, I received a text message from Ronnie Miller, who's one of our representatives to the Potomac Valley Soil Conservation District, and he said there will be a meeting of DOT, DNR, and PBSCD at Welton Park on Wednesday, the 15th of November at 9:30 a.m. to look at the blockage there before the Gap Bridge. And he asked me, he said, let the Grant County Commissioners know too. So I'll share that after our meeting with them. But yeah, this is maybe something that we can look at to help that along. But obviously there's several that are interested in that blockage, or at least that rock and tree accumulation there before the bridge. And we started talking about that before, it was before, while Harold Michael was still a county commissioner, we started down this avenue. So,
Can I mention one thing here too? I don't know when you've seen it yet or not, but there is evidently a FEMA funding grant out there now with state assistance stuff for dam safety programs for rehabbing high hazard potential dam.
The paper that you gave me,
I've got a part of that. I can give it all to you.
oh, sorry, I
That's
had
all right. But that just came out,
yesterday.
I think it was either yesterday or the day before.
Like to touch base with, what's his name? Started with me. Soil conservation.
FSA or,
Anyway, practice.
NRC.
Brian Farkas. Yeah.
But anyhow, remember those issues with the dams up before? Maybe we need to apply for that. They might not be eligible to do that.
He's no longer with, he's not.
Conservation agency. Won't make us responsible.
Right, it was just grant money. You give to them, but they don't want to receive.
responsibility.
Well, right, all those details.
Paul just gave me that, so I can look and see. Maybe give an update
They're worth looking into.
at the next meeting. The monies that we allocated for the, Hardy County Health and Wellness Center, Morgan is going to give me, a transaction report. It looks like, there's for 2 months. I don't know if it's gonna be in 2 months or if it's gonna be for every month, but for the month of September, we had 15 employees to use the center, and for the month of October, we had 14 employees. So, you know, that's doing good. We're hoping that we'll get more people, obviously, when, you know, the colder months, you know, people can get outside and do their exercising or do their walking. The things that weren't on the agenda, these are just things that came in after the agenda was, needed to be produced. We did receive good news that we received, information that we are awarded $34,839.74 for our courthouse facilities, improvement authority grant that we applied for the third floor for our bat removal, cleanup, restoration, whatever else. So that was a big surprise. I didn't think that we would hear something back this soon, but I got one on Friday.
What's the source of that money?
It's the courthouse facilities improvement authority.
State of West Virginia.
Yes. We tried to apply for that grant every time that the cycle is available for us to apply.
Mhm.
This helps with the improvements of the courthouse,
Right.
anything that needs to be done inside. The roof on the sheriff's office, we applied for a grant last year and we got that grant, and that was able to help pay for the roof on the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Just to let you know, we just talked about the spay and neutering grant. It has been overwhelming. Some days it's like a revolving door that's been in and out of my office. I think I know everybody by a first name basis and maybe their dogs and cats. Just saying, but I have not heard anything bad about this. I've had a lot of people. In fact, I went to the ball game on Friday night, and I've had probably 4 or 5 people just come up to me and say thank you. You know, because this is wonderful that you guys are identifying that there is a problem, and you know we have the West Party Cat Rescue or whatever. We've had several people that belong to that organization. We've had several people to get applications also for the cats that they help foster and adopt out or whatever they're doing there. So good things coming from that. And like I said, hopefully we can get some additional monies for anybody else, because I would anticipate probably this week I'll be out of money. Because like I said, I'm under $2,000 now, so it has been fast. And I will say hats off to Tom and Leslie. They're doing phenomenal with the short help that they have, getting everybody in and getting everybody taken care of. So hopefully this puts a little bit into the problem.
Tom and Leslie cut their rates a little bit.
No. Well, I don't quote me, I'm not sure, but that's what I understand, and then they did that.
It's not high.
No, it's not.
It's not high.
We've been receiving dog food invoices thanks to Jay. His daughter's been emailing me those invoices when Jim has to get additional dog food from southern states. That works out really good. Jim did say that has helped him out tremendously. He told me that some months he was either getting dog food or paying bills. And, you know, we don't want that to happen. So this has definitely helped him as far as that goes. And his bills have been, he usually gets about 5 bags at a time, and they're running about $167 at a time. This is something that he's getting often, but, you know, he is utilizing those funds. When we were in Austin, I met with a gentleman, which I thought it caught my eye. You know, I'm passionate because I have a daughter that's in school, but they had some gloves. They were compliant technology, and they were like a taser type glove. So I got information, shared it with the sheriff, and he said, you know, we could take a look at it and see. Not so much for our deputies that's on the road, but this glove would be, we think, helpful for our school resource officers. There's a lady that's gonna meet with the sheriff and I, next week for, a demonstration. And they do have a cost savings, if we could buy any gloves, it would be $500 off each pair. Now, we don't know whether or not, I don't know the prices, I don't know which style the sheriff would want if we get them. We need to talk to the schools to see if this is something that they would want us to, possibly pursue. But both resource officers that I'd spoken to, you know, they were interested, so just to let you guys know about that. I've met with Dick Gray, and we're still, we still have 2 vacancies on the Farmland Preservation Board. We believe, I have not spoken to one of the vacancies. Mike Alt, whose membership has expired, he has spoken to Tyler Bradfield, and from my word from Dick, Tyler said that he would accept that position. I have not reached out to Tyler yet. So that if Tyler would accept it.
It's still in the plan. Yes.
Pretty good.
I'll let Greg speak to that. I'll let Greg speak to it.
I mean, I knew when I was down there.
He went through a period of time that he was not very active.
Yeah.
But he, at the same time, had become the bus driver. As his explanation, he was the low man on the totem pole, and all the extra runs he was required to take. The last, he has attended probably the last 2 of the last 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So he's doing a little better.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Do
And I do think
those members have to be from a certain area, or does that?
No, it doesn't. From what Dick told me, they would like to have people strategically in the county, but it's not so many people from this district and so many people from that
Let's
district.
see, Rob Fansler's on, Dennis Funk has been on, but Dennis may be the other one that's expired.
Dennis is the one that's expiring.
And Mike Alt is,
the other one that's expiring.
and like these can't be renewed. Then that's what they're saying.
They've served, but the bylaws say that you serve until you're replaced. And so we're trying to find replacements for them. And that's been a little bit of a slow process. Our county commission serves on there in a kind of an ex officio capacity, but the RDA director is on there as a legit person. And then we have some flexibility. I think probably George Leatherman's on there representing PBSCD. Jeremy
Crossland, but there was also discussion.
Timmy Wilkins.
Yeah, I think he was taking, he was still gonna stay on, but, wasn't for sure about meetings because he was, maybe gonna start driving truck or something
He
again.
went back to driving truck. So that was hard for him to make a midday meeting. And, so.
How many members are on that board?
7? Yeah, 7. So it looks like that we have, like I said, 2 spots, so we would need 1 other spot. It was a recommendation that maybe we explored and talked to Deb Bishop to see if maybe she would be interested, because she had served previously, back in like 2003 to 2006. But
Now with all her spare time since she's retired.
and I have not, like I said, I have not reached out. I wanted just to, let you guys know to be thinking about if you have anybody else that, we would want to entertain, if you want me to, talk to Tyler. I know that for the next time, but just to give you guys a heads up.
Reach out to them and see if they're willing to.
But, Dick, he did come to me yesterday and he was a little distraught because there's just been a lot of things to occur with the farmland preservation, with easements and people not working, and he was a little frustrated.
I think you have to keep working, having membership meetings, because what we did at the planning commission, and that's something I'm going to also mention tonight, we probably need to have ongoing membership committee meetings, and that way we can really work. That is working, like, you know, we brought people in because it's always front and center. And it's a way to do, and we did it through setting up that committee, you know, that gathered names and reached out to people. So that would be
a
one
good
idea.
start that process there, yeah.
I wonder if y'all were aware of the rock slide on South Fork Road about 5 days ago, 6 days ago. The rock itself, it's a very steep mountain, crushed a trailer that's no longer usable. The rock measured 10 foot by 9 foot by 7 foot. Now that the rock fell off, you look up and there's cracks. Okay, so more's coming. Department of Highways came out and repaired the road with a big rock, hit the road again, and then went over the field. And I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it.
What's the location? What was the location?
9 miles in, 7 miles from our house, South Fork Road.
It isn't in the same area where we had that major problem.
Not up there.
No, it's not
where
that
it
close.
slid
It's a
before.
different- okay.
What'd you have?
Where the slide was
Where
before,
AJ Wade had his.
a couple years ago.
AJ White? No. AJ's closer to town.
Yeah.
He's closer to town.
You're close to 10 miles where we go into Grace there. It's
Right.
Stump Lane.
Okay.
So it'd be
Yeah,
back,
pretty close to that.
back
Yeah.
on that side.
Yeah, I just looked at it yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
Probably there about where the Irish farm.
Yeah. And there's two guys. The two guys that they do HVAC.
Did not know that.
I didn't.
Yeah. So, and two vehicles. I mean, it's a mess. It's just a mess. There's a smaller rocks also, which hit some of the vehicles. So, it's not going to stop.
No, that'll continue.
It's not going to stop.
Just another thing, not for today, but just we need to keep our eye on Jim with the dog pound. He had, and I expressed this to you all, we found out there are some residents that aren't paying dog taxes on their dogs, and they're considered a backyard breeder, and he's been seeing an influx at given times from these people who breed these dogs, and he's been picking these dogs up. I don't know if that people are just letting them loose or if it's them, but I did check the assessor's records, and they have not assessed or paid taxes on their dogs since 2019, the one in particular. So that's something that we
Under the code, we have enforcement power. Those things, like someone, if they're not recertifying, there's enforcement that can take place. We did talk to one of those people, you know, I think there's some changes that have been made since then, but we need to stay up on that. We need to continue to work in that direction.
And then just lastly, I had Dave to sign our invoice for reimbursement. Shingleton Contracting got finished with our work on the Sheriff's Department Annex, and they, I just submitted the invoice for a reimbursement. It was for $28,016 is what we'll be receiving from the courthouse facilities grant, last year's grant. So.
Anything else? Any questions for Wendy at this time? All right. And we'll take a look at that Chesapeake Bay grant a little bit closer and see if there's anything we might do. And make sure to get that 15th at 9:30 up there at the Welton Park on the calendar for looking at that debris blockage, potential blockage there. Clerk Ely.
Yeah, buddy.
We have come to you.
Well, I have two orders barring objections to the estates of Winnie L. DeGio and Dolores M. Swankowski. Swankowski.
Any other notable issues with those two
No.
estates?
Those are the ones. Those are the ones where kind of just like are ancillary administrators with no appointments and any heirs or have X amount of days to
All right,
Second.
it's been properly moved and second that order be issued barring objections to the estates of Winnie L. Bigo and Dolores M. Swatkowski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 3 ayes, the ayes have it. Motion carries.
And I have a paper form for, remember, now executive session, prosecutor's office on the budget revision. We need some like paper trail for our side on the auditor's office. So that's where it actually rounds up, it's $11,665, and they're moving it all internal inside their budget.
I'll entertain a motion that we approve the budget revision requested by the prosecuting attorney's office. Been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 3 ayes, the ayes have it.
And I have received notices from the auditor's office for account numbers for the, well, I'll just read the resolution. Where is West Virginia? Unless you want to read it.
You go ahead and read it.
Senate Bill number 1021, relating to the county fire protection. Auditor has created a new fund, number 41. Revenues to be deposited in the account 2323 and expenses being in accordance with the uniform charter account. Now, therefore, to resolve Hardin County Commission about the creating of a checking account designated as fund number 41 of the county fire protection fund. This is not the EMS one. We're still waiting on a number for that. So as soon as they do that, I'll get that done. And the second one is they have created a new fund for the opioid settlement money. That's fund number 40. And the revenues will be deposited into account number 54 and expenses with the uniform charter accounts. Now, therefore, as a result, the commission does hereby approve the creating of a checking account designated as fund number 40, opioid settlement.
So we need those before we can receive our funds.
We did. You might as well probably go and take it back.
Okay?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. We open these new checking accounts for the opioid settlement fund, number 40, and for the county fire protection fund, account number 41. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 3 ayes, the ayes have it. Anything further, Mr. Clerk? All right, we do have the minutes of October 3rd meeting, regular meeting, and the October 26th special meeting to approve, along with the exonerations, settlements, consolidations, orders, payroll register, which is for the 1st through the 15th of October, $96,164.42, and for October 16 through October 31, $100,379.49. The clerk's report of wills admitted and executors appointed. Clerk's report of administrators, curators, and committees appointed. Exhibits in your packet identified as A1. Motion to approve.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on any of those counts? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 3 ayes, the ayes have it. Also, the farmland preservation monies collected by the county clerk for the month of October comes to the amount of $16,913.60. Kind of an indication that our county is still growing. And have we received the October jail bill yet?
Yes, actually, I did get it yesterday.
Do you have an amount?
It was $26,801.70.
801.70.
If I looked at the one from previous month, I think it was only just within like maybe $10, $20.
$26,017.
Yeah, there wasn't much difference at all.
We thank our judicial system for that and working to try to keep that under control. We appreciate that. Is there anything further to come before the Hardy County Commission today at our regular meeting?
I have something else. I just forgot.
I was going to say, we've got an executive session to come to the end.
I'd like one too on,
Okay.
I need to talk to you all real quick. I'm sorry. I just got notification. Greg, don't kill me. That's all I'm going to say. I need a new account opened up.
No problem.
No problem.
I was going to say he's blinking.
It is for, so I inherited this, and the commissioners feel my pain because they've heard me talk about this numerous times. Matthias Baker for their air tanks. So we were named as the grantor and not them. And Jeff Owens, him and I have been going back and forth. We finally got word that he said he needs a separate bank account for the oxygen tank grant. We also need to set up a new account for the county's contribution, which is going to be $20,700 is what our contribution, is what their contribution is going to be for us.
that's what they're getting us.
Yes. And he also said, this is something new that they're requiring, that we're going to need a certification from the county, a current conflict of interest policy in place. And he has copied me with one, a conflict of interest. So we'll have to have that signed as well. So good news for those folks. I just got word of all this morning. So I'll reach out to Laura and you talk to anybody.
Are you going to wrap that all? We'll probably have a special meeting before the end of the month. But can you wrap all that up in conflict of interest statement?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll need you to sign. Yeah.
The account, let me look, cause we had to do one for those federal grants before, and we just changed the name.
Okay.
If the money's going, they use it for nothing.
That's fine. If you can do that, just let me know.
How much is the actual grant money we're getting?
$20,700.
So we got to make up the 9,000. 30,000 is what I made the motion that we would match whatever it took to get to 30.
Okay.
So it's already.
Because I didn't think we was going to get that, but I thought it was like 17 or 18. Originally.
Well, I like I said, I inherited this, and I don't know the.
Well, it could be the cost. Maybe he's added some to it.
Well, I had to get a new. Yeah, I had to get a new estimate from whatever company it was.
But that's what my motion was when we originally approved this.
Is it doing like all of them at once?
The ones that are expiring, from my understanding, that I don't think it'll be all of them, but I think it'll be a portion because apparently they have.
Replace all of them.
Yeah,
apparently. 50 grand would do that. I don't know.
Apparently.
They don't use them all.
No, but you gotta have so many of them. Truck, I know.
Got a couple things where anybody
They'll just be happy with what they're gonna get. Well, I see.
Yeah.
So that's good news for them because that has been ongoing since I've been here. So
This has been, I mean, it's been pain since we started this.
So
It sounds like we've made progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have the conflict of interest policy prepared, and then Greg's gonna check about that account. If not, we'll get that other account open, and if we do a special meeting anymore, if not, we'll do it Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Now I'll make a motion to the session for that.
All right, are you going to go with Greg Ely first and ask Wendy to go see if she can find the sheriff and skip?